What are you, Dion? Put it away.
I need an espresso martini. Like,
Heather Gay, when she vomits.
no,
All
I
in
was
in the
thinking
bus
of
and
this
Palm
scene
Springs.
when Shep ordered one.
I love a good espresso martini.
Yeah. Alert.
But people don't know how to make them.
Well, that's why they always order it on Below Deck, because people are trying to party for a long time. They have to have those espresso martinis.
Have you had one before?
I mean, yes, but not
Like a really good one?
Yeah, not a really good one, and not
They're
real time.
dangerous.
Yeah. Well, I'm here for it.
What was Erica Jane's tagline?
Oh, you can no. Oh my God, I went into Dorit. You can take all the things.
I'm an international woman.
No,
I know
she
three
goes,
languages.
No. Erica's was, I have nothing to lose and nothing to hide,
I have
and that
nothing to
makes
hide.
me dangerous.
Yeah, espresso martinis are dangerous.
Yeah.
As we're going to see in SLC a bit.
Gross. I don't want to watch that.
I don't
where
need-
she's throwing up on the bus. No, thank you. No, thank you.
Well,
Whatever shield we have, it's going.
it resonated.
Yeah.
It was so messy, and you're so desperate to get it out that you're trying to make it into the bag, and even then, it's like either the bag has to be over your head, or there's no way you're gonna meet your target.
No, it's so gross. God.
You know,
Why couldn't she be outside, just be in a bush?
like
Luann?
Luann. Why can't Heather just fall in a bush?
God.
There are no
Come
bushes
on.
in Palm
She is
Springs.
a fan. She's a fan. Take a page out of that book, baby. Jeez.
She's sick. She is ill.
I'm gonna have to literally fast forward that scene.
I can
Like, honestly, I know we've talked about trigger warnings on this show before.
Mm-hmm.
To me, I need a throw up warning. Like, if someone's going to throw up, I need them to be like, okay, now next scene, there's going to be someone who vomits. And I need to know so I can, like, shield my eyes or I can fast forward, because I can't be a part of that.
there was
all.
none of that.
Well,
It was just
I know there's not, because they put it in the fucking trailer and I had to watch it twice by accident. Because it just sneaks up on you, much like throwing up does.
Yeah, it does.
I can't. All right. Next subject. Oh, exactly. Perfect. Perfection.
I saw something really interesting online
Okay.
on social media. I want your take on this.
Okay.
Okay. So, Bethany Frankel, if you follow her,
God, I did not know that's where this was going.
is that a jump scare?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, God. Okay, continue.
If you follow her on TikTok, even if you don't, you might be aware that she does makeup tutorials and she buys makeup and she's like, this is garbage, this is not, whatever. Okay. So, because she lives her life like completely online now, everything's on TikTok, everything's on YouTube, everything. She did a self-shot video of her going to TJ Maxx.
Okay.
Like she's taking you through her like going there, getting there, going in. It's not set up, so no one knows that this is going to happen. Like she's going to go in and start talking to people who work at TJ Maxx.
Okay.
So she gets in there and you follow her and she's talking and you follow her until she finds somebody who works at TJ Maxx, and she is there to donate the makeup that she uses for her tutorials to the people who work at TJ Maxx.
Wait.
And she gives you a cutaway too. She cuts away to the bag full of makeup. It is a shopping bag.
Okay.
Like a nice shopping bag, almost like a gift bag, a car,
Okay.
you know.
Yeah.
Full of makeup
Okay.
that she has bought and used
And
to show
used
tutorials.
makeup. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I need to understand where her head's at.
I am so grateful that I have not seen this. I'm so grateful to the TikTok algorithm gods that have not put this on my phone. Because this to me is the most out of touch, because she thinks she's doing like a good thing, right? Look at me. I'm giving back to the community. These people can probably buy their own fucking makeup. And also, if they're working at TJ Maxx, they probably get a fucking discount. So for you to show up
They don't sell makeup like that at TJ Maxx.
Okay, well, whatever. I haven't been there in a long time. Okay. So, bravo, but leave it in so people know who I am. But the fact that she is showing up with like partially used makeup, these people are fine. They don't need you to come and rescue them and give them makeup. And maybe they don't even wear makeup. She is delusional to me. I can't.
I just need to know the thought process that she went through where she's like, I'm going to go to TJ Maxx and I'm going to donate used makeup.
Because I would imagine she thinks TJ Maxx like a Walmart, like bottom of the barrel, like.
What do you think is Goodwill?
Yeah.
She shops at TJ Maxx. She loves TJ Maxx.
But she does it ironically. Like, I think that she probably looks at that thinking like, oh, look at me. I'm gonna go and help some people. I'm putting this in quotations because I think that and the sad thing about Bethany is I think a lot of her earlier seasons on Roni, she was more relatable because she actually did come from nothing and really worked hard and made a name for herself. But now she's so fucking out of touch that she doesn't understand doing something like this, how it actually looks from the outside in.
Well, I'll tell you how it looks from the outside in. Because we get a shot of the cashier or the person working at TJ Maxx who literally is looking at Bethany like she has the third eye.
Good.
And she's like,
the evil eye. The evil eye. She gave me the evil eye. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. God.
By the way, there are places.
She has no shame. She has no shame.
By the way, I support donating it. There are shelters. There are Dress for Success, places that people will use it.
Why are you filming it? Why are you filming it?
Why are you going to TJ Maxx?
Well, everything she does has to have a platform.
Exactly.
It's not enough for her just to donate it. She has to show that she's doing it. It's worth nothing to me.
At TJ Maxx, though, it's not Goodwill. Could you?
I think that they are interchangeable for her.
Could you imagine? Now, I know that Goodwill takes underwear, but could you imagine somebody donating their shit-stained underwear to Goodwill and going, "Here, please, somebody use this"?
No. Honestly, I guess I shouldn't be surprised. I shouldn't be, but here we are.
Well, I want to know what happened to the reality reckoning. Because I haven't heard anything.
Nothing.
I'm sorry. I work in reality television. I'm a producer. In case you guys didn't know.
Guys.
And I have heard nothing about the reality reckoning. So.
Because it's tired now.
Curious,
just to move on.
Curious how that's going to work out.
I also think that she doesn't have the attention span to really stick with something for too long. I wonder where she's going to hit it up next. Kmart? Is Kmart still a thing? I don't even know. Is it?
There's a couple of Kmarts here.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Bethany, we're waiting for you at Kmart. Our local Kmart, baby. I need some $10 mascara.
Okay, guys.
And I'm real fucking fair. Also, makeup is so suggested on your skin tone. Like, she's just like, I just don't understand. Whatever. I don't know why I'm so angry because I really don't care. But because she's just irritating the shit out of me.
It's dumb.
It is so dumb.
It was
so dumb.
By the way, it was reminding me of, but this plays for comedy, so it's different, a little different. Maybe it doesn't play for comedy for everybody, but when the Malibu fires took out Malibu and Camille Donatachi's house burned down.
God.
And the plight.
Yeah.
They lost everything.
Yeah.
She had to go to that consignment shop and all they had there was a 10-year-old Burberry coat.
Oh, God.
I was like, Camille. But people called her out for it on the show. So
yes,
it was,
of course. The editing. It was the editors. Remember her first season?
Pernicious.
She's like, it was the editors and the producers. They made me look like a monster. I mean, you did that yourself.
Camille. I mean, she was going through a rough time, you know? I hate that I'm about to admit this, but
what?
Right before we got on the mic, I went to the bathroom. Oh, and I just looked down. Well, no, I just looked down and I realized there's toilet paper stuck in.
I was like, where are we going
that I
here?
just pulled out.
I didn't even see that, but it's because your computer's blocking me. So, all right, well,
great.
Now we all know. We could have not known, but now we all know.
We do. We all know.
It's a truth circle.
So we're here.
Yes, we're here.
Now, how are you doing? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling okay.
Because
episode 1.
Lately, we've been talking about a lot of Taylor Swift. Yeah, I feel like we've been
every day.
Shit, and she makes you feel a certain type of way.
Yeah,
wouldn't you say?
Yes,
but
where are you going with this,
guys?
Oh, you're going to guys. Craig.
Betsy texted me today and was like, "I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do because Craig." Well, first of all, she goes, "Austin, don't care about." Craig makes me feel a certain type of way.
Y'all, I love Craig.
So
it's a toxic trait, maybe, but like I love him. But then he always he lights my fire, but then he puts it out at the same time. So it's like my fire was lit for most of this episode, and then the last scene, I'm like, oh yeah, he put the fire out because I thought he was so obnoxious.
Well, I was going to
But-
ask you, when you sent me that voice note, you didn't explicitly say exactly what from this episode made you think about that, but what was the moment where you're like, God,
Honestly,
I love Craig.
I really think the first scene with Paige.
okay.
You know, there's something about, and you know, JJ. Oh my God, Lord.
Okay, for fuck's sake.
Whoopsie.
Guys, she couldn't remember to call me JJ when we record the episode, so we'd have to like pick up and then delete shit. And she would accidentally call me Lauren. And then now we're here and we can use my real name. And now she calls me JJ.
Can't fucking get it straight. But Lauren likes to give me a hard time because I made the mistake of one time telling her that I had a sex dream about Craig. One time.
Well.
And it was because I think it was triggered because like he was like I just love his smile. When he smiles, I light up inside. There's something about the way he smiles I'm into. And the opening scene with Craig and Paige, I was really into. I thought he was super endearing. His house is finally starting to look like a house.
Yeah.
It looks good.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I love Paige. I'm here for Paige.
Yeah, his house
too.
looks great.
It does. It does.
It's beautiful.
But yeah, I feel things for Craig. I just don't really know how to explain it. I do think it's a little bit of a toxic trait. But I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it.
This is how I feel about Tom Schwartz.
I know. And that's toxic too. So
I when Vanderpump was airing, I texted my friend who works on Vanderpump and I was like, Tom Schwartz is my toxic trait.
yeah. Yeah. So I mean it's a thing. It's
You
a
know.
thing. I mean, they don't call it Southern Charm for no reason. I don't
Well, yeah.
always well let me rephrase that. I never get it for Austin. Every now and again I'm like, oh, Shep can be charming. For some reason I'm always defaulting to Craig. Craig, he can be such a fucking asshole, but then he'll do something and I'm like, oh my God, he's so charming. I also feel nothing for Whitney too, but Whitney I'm kind of coming around to, like, I think he's kind of interesting, but I never a sexual feeling ever for Whitney.
Well, what's interesting about Craig as a character on the show and just in life,
Okay.
he's so liked. We've seen it in so many other seasons. He'll get so upset and then he'll be like, I'm sorry. And they're like, it's okay.
Yeah.
That's Craig.
Yeah.
So I get it.
I mean, at least he apologizes, I guess. But yeah, I feel like he out of the men, he gets more of like a slap on the wrist.
Well, that's what I mean. Like I'll go to Reddit or I'll see it online or social media and everyone just loves him.
It's the charm, baby.
So you're not the only one.
Good, I'm glad.
Yeah.
Glad. But yeah. Oof.
Betsy's loves Craig is what we're trying to say.
Yeah.
I'll text him.
Oh, well, that's too much
I'll let
for
him
me.
know. I'll let him know that.
Thank you. He has a
feels certain
fan. He
type
has
of
a
way.
fan. But I want him to know that I do love him, but I love Paige more. And I think that he'll respect that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I actually texted him and I said,
What'd you say?
I said, how are you feeling?
Uh-huh.
I'm going to send one of these to you. I'm going to overnight it to you. And it was a back brace working in a, like when you work in a warehouse.
Because he worked overtime
I
on this
felt
episode?
like he worked really hard on this episode.
Okay. Yeah, I thought so.
And when I say that, I mean, it was incidental. You know what I mean? He wasn't-
With the ending scene specifically, yeah.
But what I will say is that I feel like one thing that has never wavered with Craig Conover, that's both in my experience having worked with him,
Okay.
and then anecdotally from others who have worked on the past seasons in season 1, right? Is that he is one of the best producers
Really?
that I have ever met. Yes.
Well, you normally hate when people do self-producing.
No.
So is it,
There's a difference.
okay.
He drives conversation. Like he drives story.
Okay. He knows what he's doing.
He knows what he's doing. Yes.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I feel like we saw a lot of that this episode.
Yeah.
Incidentally, of course, but yes.
Yeah.
He is. He's a really good producer.
All right. Well, I'm getting a little hot and bothered. I think let's just get into it. Let's just fucking do it.
All right.
Rip it off.
Let's do it. Hey, y'all. Welcome to Reality Bites, the podcast where we'll deep dive into this week's buzziest reality TV and pop culture happenings.
I'm Betsy, and while I may be 9 to 5 by day, I'm a reality connoisseur by night.
And I'm JJ, a reality TV producer by trade, but my favorite pastime is dishing unfiltered dirt and behind-the-scenes scoop. We'll tackle the biggest and best water cooler moments of the week through an insider lens you won't find anywhere else.
Buckle up, buttercups.
Please don't tell me it's about Tom.
It's about Tom.
This is Reality Bites. Yeah, it's one episode.
It's one episode. We have a long way to go, baby.
We have a long, long way. I mean, we started out with a supersize.
Oh,
What
God.
the fuck? All week.
Y'all,
all week.
I paused it right before they did like the little montage of like, you know, that like what felt like a trailer, but like they were in their chairs. And then I said, wait a minute.
Oh, in the cold open?
Yeah, I was like, let me pause it. Just to see. And then I was like 60 seconds into 54 minutes and I said, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. It's a common theme. It's just a lot.
I honestly feel like if Bravo's going to do this to us, if Bravo was going to make us have 4 shows a week, because what we have Roni, we have now we have Salt Lake, we have OC, which you know is I assume coming to an end within a few weeks, God knows, and now we have Southern Charm. So if we're gonna have 4 big time shows, supersize one of them, and that's it.
I know. But they're not. It feels like
I know they're not because I'm having to watch them.
I'm taking it in. Turn on the red light.
Turn on the red light.
Yeah, I just need to know.
Take me home and put me to bed. That's kind of how I feel.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm just not. It's just a lot. It's just, I love it. But lately, I feel like that's just been a theme. They've been doing a lot of supersized. I wonder why.
I don't know that this episode needed to be supersized, if I'm being honest.
Well,
but
neither did I, actually. By the time I got to the end, I think it would have been better a little tighter.
yeah. I wonder if it's the first episode. Maybe they felt like they had to do that. I don't know.
I think, I mean, this is me speculating. I don't know this to be certain, but I just feel as though we're trying to get people to watch cable. And I think the supersize helps with ad sales and making more money. And Southern Charm has always been, from a rating standpoint, a successful show. That I wonder if they're trying to just keep people watching even more, getting more bang for their buck, if you will.
Well, I didn't. I watched it on Peacock, so I can only speak for myself.
I know. Well, okay, so guys, we're here at Southern Charm season 9.
Season 9, episode 1. My gosh.
Well, this was one of our bigger shows that we recapped last season.
Yeah.
So
I feel like, you know, Housewives, they're fun, but I feel like I call them the variety shows where it's male and female
co-ed viewing.
They interact with each other. It seems like it pops off a little bit more. We can kind of see ourselves in the cast a little bit more. Maybe.
Yeah, because you know it's just the thing that we kind of miss. I think sometimes, or I miss it, just having a male presence, just kind of breaking the space up.
Yeah.
But
we can't all be Terry.
And but yeah, not all house husbands are created equal. Okay, and occasionally we get a really, really, really good house husband, but that's one. That's 1 out of a million. And, you know, collectively, like Mauricio, I feel like is always kind of like
he's one of
the
the
flagship. Like he gets it. He's a cast member. I'll call him a cast member.
Yeah.
He gets it. So he's really good at being able to drive those types of conversations. But we get it naturally, obviously, on shows like Vanderpump and Below Deck and Southern Charm.
Yeah.
And Winter House. Betsy's really excited about Winter House. She keeps asking me if I've seen the trailer, and no, I have not.
Yeah, Lord and I are on total opposite pages for the first time.
Yeah.
Where I'm like super stoked about something, and she's like, better not. And it's because I think some of the Below Deck cast is going to be
Well, that's what I was going
to
to ask. So you're excited about Below Deck.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm excited about that because I love Katie, who was one of the chief stews, I think on Mediterranean. And then Aisha's coming in, although Aisha does seem like she's probably going to be kind of a flash in the pan. Like she might
pop in, pop out.
Yeah, like probably a couple episodes or whatever. And then Malia, who was with Katie in the Med. So I honestly, I just like that it's a big cast because I won't get so bored. Okay. And it's a quick moving show, right? Because they film probably 2 or 3 weeks, maybe. So I'm actually like really looking forward to it. I am.
All right.
So guys, solo recaps with me, Betsy. Tune in on the Patreon.
Yeah, you have to pay for that one. Okay, we're not gonna.
It'll just be like 50 cents.
We're not gonna risk losing our listenership. Okay.
Exactly.
We're not gonna take big risks like that.
Actually, guys, just come to my personal Instagram page. I'll just voice memo y'all.
At Betsy. Is that your handle?
I think it's BCroom15. You know.
Well, I wasn't actually expecting you to put your handle, but guys, follow her.
I don't fucking care.
Yeah. Oh, you're going to get probably some followers from that.
Well, if I do, great, guys. I am public. I am just like the celebrities. I'm public. Okay.
She's out. Okay.
You can just hit a follow. The content's very lackluster.
Yeah, it's her dog.
obviously. Well,
And
not
pictures of Craig.
not. It's Craig. It is Craig. Oh
It
my
is.
God, Craig, don't follow me. I'm just kidding.
Actually, real quick before we really get into it, what
Yeah.
would you do if Craig followed you? I'm gonna tell him to follow you.
Oh, I don't care. I mean, honestly, the content's not great, like I said. But I'd be so excited. I would like for Paige to follow me too, though.
Yeah. Well, look, Paige and Craig both follow Reality Bites.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm just really rooting for them.
You
Like,
are?
I know people, I don't want to put this energy out there, but I know people were really, really sad about Carl and Lindsay. I would be really,
I didn't know where you were going. I was like,
really,
what?
really devastated
Yeah.
if something happened to the two of them. Because that's my Bravo celebrity couple. I love them. But, you know, if they do end up going their separate ways, which I don't want, but if they do,
Yeah.
you know, I will still support individually.
Well, I hope this doesn't happen either, and I don't want to put this energy out there, but once we start recapping the show, Craig's probably going to unfollow us.
I'm
kidding.
I don't care about
It
that.
was- well, neither do I. I was more just making a joke because
Yes.
who knows what we're going to see this season, okay? Okay?
Craig doesn't even know.
Exactly.
Craig doesn't even
Exactly. And then he'll probably say it didn't happen that way. I'm like, yeah, it probably did.
Well, Craig, come on the podcast and tell us how it happened.
I'm
baby.
trying to get him on.
how it happened.
Trying to get him on the pod.
Well,
Overall thoughts? I'm curious
Okay.
definitely from you as a
yeah.
As a viewer.
I enjoyed it. I really did.
You did, okay.
I enjoyed it. I was interested to see kind of how it was going to feel without Catherine.
Yeah.
And I think just naturally, you know, having Olivia and Taylor kind of play bigger roles obviously makes sense without Catherine, but also because of like the breakups between Shep and Austin. You know, it's kind of sad to see the friendship right now because what we know is what we know, and
Sure.
it's probably going to go down a different path.
It will go down a different path.
But honestly, I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked it for the most part. I really did.
did.
I felt
Did you feel full? Or did you feel hungry still after?
I'm hungry. I don't no, I thought I was satisfied, but I might need to like get a snack before going to bed.
Got it.
You know what I
okay.
mean?
All right.
Like I was
Like a cheese plate?
yes.
Okay.
Oh, I will always say yes to that.
Yeah.
Honestly, like if I'm comparing it to Salt Lake, because Salt Lake's, I mean, I know that we're 2 episodes in now to Salt Lake, but the first episode of Salt Lake, I think I was a little bit more into, I felt, you know,
Yeah.
more satiated than this.
Mhm.
But I still overall, I liked it. What about you?
I really enjoyed it.
Okay.
I like your shoes.
Guys, did you hear the inflection? I liked it.
It's good.
The comments are turned off. It's like she just did her apology video, but she turned the comments off so nobody could make a comment on the video.
In all seriousness, it was a good episode. I think as a producer and having a familiarity with the show, there are just like certain things that I think viewers probably just don't pick up on that I wish had been a little bit more buttoned up.
Okay.
More like, you know, B-roll packages. I felt like could have been a little bit more stylized.
And that's
like
just, like,
interstitials could have been
Shots of like scenes and stuff, or like the city, basically.
the city. So like
Okay.
anything, you know, when you see basically anything that's kind of transitioning you from one scene to the next.
Yeah. Okay.
So interstitials, B-roll, establishing shots. So there's a colorization process when you're filming anything. You're essentially filming an analog, which means like there just hasn't been ingested and we haven't done any filtering, color
Yeah.
correcting, any of that. If something felt a little off and it was persistent throughout, where it almost felt like we were watching an analog. It was very gray. And I know it's a camera setting or it's something in post because you see the green in certain scenes when they're outside very lifted and everything else is very muted. So
Okay.
I don't know if it's a camera setting.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure. So it was stuff like that, some continuity. We're missing some connective tissue, some arriving, like when we're covering arrivals, we need 2 cameras outside, not 1 camera in, 1 camera out, because you're not getting all the angles
Yeah.
that you need to get. We don't have cutaways, stylized B-roll at the event. were just music. Some of the music was a little off.
The music was so weird.
The
music was so weird.
So in the scene with Madison and Brett, and we're setting her up, and she's gotten married, and et cetera, et cetera. It's very TLC. It's very like
do up.
It wasn't. It was a little housewivesy. The music was. I say TLC, but I think if we heard that same music in a scene for Housewives, we wouldn't think TLC. We'd just think Housewives.
Yeah.
So that felt a little amiss. I think this is something that's probably been a consistent problem, even in the seasons that I did, where the show feels like it's losing its identity a little bit because we're in 2023, and you would think that we were modern in 2013, but the show's been around for 10 years, and I think that what the concept and what kind of rooted the show in what we love, and the first, like, I don't know, 6 seasons, maybe 5 seasons.
Yeah.
That is, I think the network's trying to shift that a bit and make it feel a little bit more modern. So it almost feels like we've lost a little bit of the identity. I think that also is a problem with some casting choices. We're just missing certain details that I think would give the show a little bit more texture. But yeah, some of this is also like the network. I think the casting and the identity, it feels like we don't know what we want. Do we want, Southern modern? Do we want Southern charm?
Yeah.
Do we want, luxe, elevation? Or do we want, it just feels like it doesn't quite.
Doesn't really know which way it's going.
Exactly. Like I can't really quite put my finger on the pulse.
Yeah.
Figuratively, what that feels like.
Yeah.
I'm encouraged, and I'm excited to see where it goes. I think the first episode's really hard to kind of give a categorical assessment. So I think most of the things that I wasn't expecting, some of the technical stuff. So
yeah, well, I pick up on nothing technical, but I will say I think it is going to be challenging because we did. Catherine's not in it. Catherine's been in it since the beginning, so that's a shift, right?
Yeah.
Now we have. Oh my God, what are their names?
All right, guys. So Betsy's never seen the show. Okay.
God. We have Olivia and Taylor now that are kind of front runners. But the interesting thing is they're part of breakups, right? Now, the Olivia Austin thing, I don't know how serious it ever really got, but obviously Shep and Taylor, they were in a committed relationship. I mean, he wasn't committed, but they were supposed to be in a committed relationship. And so I think part of the identity for me for this first episode was like centered around them.
It was. And although they're very strong personalities in life, it sometimes doesn't translate the same way on the show. So I think we're missing kind of an anchor.
Yeah.
And I think Madison is a perfect example. And I don't know if the viewers are going to necessarily see it this way or our listeners, but Madison is more of an anchor. And somebody like Madison also needs somebody to kind of play off of a little bit. Olivia and Taylor are great, but they're not quite the personalities that are going to play off of somebody like Madison that I feel really resonates with what the show kind of is about in terms of like earlier when I was saying identity.
Yeah.
Craig is a little bit more of an anchor, and every show kind of needs
dominant.
that.
They're both dominant.
They're very dominant.
Yeah.
And I think that we could have used another cast member that's a female added onto the show. Now, we will see new cast members come in. I'm not sure if we're going to get them in the next episode, but we're going to start seeing them trickle in, but it's 3 men.
Oh, God.
And I think that if we had the opportunity.
Did you say 3?
That's right.
There's 3 men coming in?
Yeah. So I think
that's 2.5 too many.
Exactly. So I think
what the fuck?
So part of me feels if the network wanted to give casting opportunities and create more space for cast on the show, and we're adding 3 men, one of those at the very least should have been a female.
I agree.
Yeah. Especially because we lost Naomi. Whether you loved her or you liked her,
and Catherine.
or didn't like her, or whatever. Exactly. We're missing anchors. We're missing like those strong female personalities.
Correct. And we only got Leva in one scene.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think we didn't utilize her as much as we could have, especially at the event.
Well, it's when you said like we had no arrival scenes, guys. So this is one thing that I never ever picked up on before. Like Lauren and I would talk about this in a real way. And same thing with like getting ready scenes, arrival scenes, like, oh, we're at a hotel, we need to do, the pickup scenes. Those are all things that I was making my sandwich, I was living life. I didn't fucking pay attention to that shit. Yeah. But this episode, the only like getting ready scene we had was with Olivia and Taylor.
Yeah.
We didn't have anything with anybody else. And that to me means like they were really trying to center the episode around them and like the
Yes.
conflict that they were hoping that, you know, was going to play out at this event because of the breakup between both parties, but really Taylor and Shep.
Yeah. I mean, there are variables to this that I'm not gonna be privy to, right? But we missed out on seeing Madison getting ready. We should have focused more on Madison and maybe the guys getting ready because they're more of the anchors of the show.
Right.
They're the consistency. If you're coming back as a new viewer, say you missed season 8, some people will not have watched season 8. They'll only have watched season 7. The one thing that you should be able to count on is a cast member or a familiarity from a past season that you may have watched.
Right.
Well, we have 2 OGs, but Austin might as well be an OG.
Sure.
They're
At
the
this point,
consistency.
yeah,
They're the
yeah.
familiarity. So if you left during season 5 and you're coming back and you're watching season 9, you need to be able to see the people that you're familiar with.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a golden rule on, by the way, any episode or any season. You should be able to drop in and just kind of know where you're at without necessarily knowing all of the details or all the episodes leading up. And
The dynamics.
it was a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
Olivia and Taylor, I understand why, but it almost, look, when you get new teams and new producers that come in, there's a reason why we try to work on the same shows year after year. But when they're new, sometimes their own familiarity with the show, they see it differently, and because they haven't been there, it's hard to really ascertain like what we deem important and what's not important.
Yeah.
Now, seeing them get ready and seeing them get dressed and seeing them, essentially they filmed them driving over to the event, but we don't see the in-car stuff. That's all well and good, but we need more options in post. So if post feels like maybe that didn't feel as significant or, you know, important enough to put it in the actual edit, we need to be able to have another option of something else. And I think
them in the car.
Yeah, I think we missed. We should have seen the guys, but we'll get into that in a little bit.
The limo.
The limo. I know. The limo's so silly.
Oh God.
We get into the episode. We have cold open, guys. We didn't have a cold open last season.
They're in the chair.
They're in the chair.
Electrocution.
How did you feel about the cold open?
Well, I was a little confused because I was like, oh, this is a cold open, but then I was like, oh, it's also a trailer. Like it felt a little odd to me because I could tell it wasn't a trailer because we did have them in the seats, right?
The confessionals?
Yeah. Or as you call it, the chairs.
Yeah,
they were in the chairs.
Oh yeah, we have them in the chair.
They're in the chairs, guys. But then it kind of flashes to like, you know, a trailer of like kind of what's to come with that specific storyline with the Taylor and the Austin of it all.
See the headlines.
Yeah.
Page 6.
Um,
Taylor Austin may have hooked up. I don't think they say it unequivocally in the headlines.
question mark.
Yeah, question mark.
We're pretty sure, kind of. ... I thought it was all right.
You think Craig sent that in?
Yeah. Honestly, like
Who sent it in?
to me, the comedy was like, I think it was Taylor that was like, don't believe everything you read on the internet. And then it goes to Craig, believe everything you hear on the internet.
Guys,
Just like obviously such a joke, but like playing that back to back, I thought I liked it.
So
I enjoyed it.
I want to point this out. I was a big time, I still am. That's why we're recapping it. But I was obsessed with Southern Charm from the first season. So getting the opportunity to work on it was really, I don't know, it was just fascinating. It was fun.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not like a fan fucker, so I wasn't like, oh God, is that Craig? No. No.
That's me.
Listen, yeah, by the way, absolutely. Betsy would show up the first day on set with a cheese plate.
Yes, I would.
On Naomi's platter, by the way, because that was very specific.
And he's obsessed with it.
He's obsessed. Craig Conover's my North Star. So if things feel a little amiss, I just need to look for Craig.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, we're centered. We're back.
You're grounded.
We're back.
You're grounded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in that moment when he's in the chair, I was like, yeah, there he is. There he is.
There he is. Yeah. I liked it.
You did.
I didn't think it was, as daunting and riveting as Vanderpump, but I think it's hard to kind of compare because they're different, and the way that the news came out was different.
Yeah.
But I liked it, but it did read a little bit more like a trailer. It honestly did.
It did a little bit, yeah. I love a cold open. Love a cold open. I think because, see, this is the part that's really fucking sucks. All right. So when they started filming this season, they started filming in January of 2023. So all of this that we're seeing was already covered. By the time that it got leaked or whatever, that this had happened, it was in April and they were on their cast trip. So this happened technically before Scandival. But Scandival is going to air first because that episode is, much later.
Sure.
It's after the fact.
Yeah.
So what sucks here is that although the cold open's really good, it felt like we're really pushing. Like Bravo's really trying to milk this Scandival era, right? They're trying to recreate the tone. But you're never going to recreate that.
No, you're not.
And so it just felt,
Well, it felt kind of like junior college. You know what I mean? Like,
yes. Yeah.
Like you get a scholarship, but you're not going to a D1, you're going to junior college. Guys, there's nothing wrong with junior college.
Or like
but
D3.
it's
Where you still have to pay and there's no scholarships. You know what I mean?
That's
what it felt like.
A little bit underwhelming. And a little
exactly.
bit,
and that fucking sucks, right? Because this happened before.
Yeah.
So I think that we could have done something a little bit more creative with the cold open instead of trying to, what I would gather is trying to capitalize off of Scandival.
Yeah.
And making it feel very like that in a way. We could have done something a little creative. I think have a cold open. We find this out and we know what's to come, right? But I think it could have been a little bit more cinematic.
Sure.
Maybe we start with, something big that happens, maybe the day that Olivia finds out, or, conversation, no music, just a scene, just pop in. And then we go, 2 months earlier.
Well, and I will say, I think because we kind of found this out still really in the thick of Scandival, I didn't pay, I obviously remember finding out about it, but I didn't pay too much attention to dates, where we were and the timeline, all this kind of stuff. And so honestly, watching Olivia and Taylor, no, that's not her name. Is it her name?
Yes, it is.
Oh my God. Okay, watching them on the bench.
But she's drinking vodka.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Well, it's also very past my bad time. But watching them on that bench, when I first saw it, I honestly didn't think at that moment in time that she had already slept with Austin. But then when I watched it with Lauren, when I came over to do the recording, she's like, yeah, they've already hooked up. And I watched it totally differently because I just don't remember the timelines, right? I just don't remember that they had already hooked up prior to that, filming in that scene.
What I will say is that I don't know if we're ever going to find out unequivocally and emphatically that they hooked up. But if they hooked up when we think that they did, the timeline, yes. So that happened after the reunion, which filmed, I think, maybe late August or early September.
Okay.
Yeah. So they supposedly hooked up after that. Now we're in January.
Yeah. Okay.
And Taylor and Shep broke up in March.
Right. Okay.
Or April of.
Yeah. The timeline is just tricky.
2022.
Yeah.
Just so we all know what year we're in.
And Olivia and Austin broke up after a week. I'm being serious. Yeah. Austin said, I can't do this.
Guys, they really did date. I want to say that. I mean, we'll talk about it more in a little bit, but yeah, they really did date. It's real. I understand the perception.
Yeah.
But they definitely dated. Yeah. I think all of Austin's relationships kind of feel a little fair weather fan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not the girls. The girl's not the fan. Austin's the fan. I'm going to be very clear here. Austin's the fan of the girl. It's fair weather.
The girls that Austin gets.
I know. It's like a thing.
Baffled. I don't understand. I don't get it.
Well, will you be a little bit more specific?
No, that's all I'm giving you.
Okay, so I asked our listeners to send in their thoughts, their opinions,
good.
And one of them from one of our listeners was, "What gives Austin such confidence? If he wasn't on TV, no one would think twice."
Oh,
how do you feel about that? Does that make sense? Is that kind of what you're trying to say? Got it.
Well, here's the thing. I don't like. God, it's a twofold. Sometimes I get Austin and I think that he can be likable.
Mm-hmm.
Now, 80% of the time, I don't. I think that he comes across very insecure.
Okay.
And I think because of that, he overcompensates.
Yeah.
And I just, I know he had a really tricky time there in the summer house. That was a real fuck you to him. Remember when he was like going between Lindsay and Sierra, and it was like a ping pong, and it was bad for him.
and then you talk about Winter House or Summer House?
Summer house. Remember when he was like,
well, we started out in Winter House. That's when he kind of like low-key
did.
dated Sierra. See how he didn't really date? They didn't have a relationship.
Yes.
Yeah, so kind of did.
But I'm really specifically talking about the summer house when it really blew up in his face.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Lindsay's like, you're sleeping in my bed. I don't
like he was having a time. He was in a place. What you're saying? Like he was,
He's still in a place.
Yeah.
He's still in a place. He's in a house. He's in a place in a house. I don't know. I don't get it. And I'm not saying that like he I'm sure is an attractive guy.
He's very cute. He's very endearing.
He can be listen, it's called Southern charm. All of the men have a certain charm to them. I get it. I just don't understand why all of these women who I would say are a 10 are trying to figure out why they need to fight for him. I don't understand it. It's baffling to me.
I think there's an enduring quality to him. I think he's,
But what's the expiration?
Ironically funny.
Because it doesn't last. What's the expiration date with that then?
What do you mean?
With his enduring quality, like it ends at some point.
I think it ends when you exhibit behaviors that align with no commitment. I think he breadcrumbs women, and I think he's unsure of himself, so he wants it, but he doesn't want it. He's like fearful avoidant.
Yeah,
He's like, I want it. I don't want it. I want it. I don't want it. I think commitment probably scares him a little bit. I think that he thinks he knows what he wants, but sometimes he may not. And I think that that's what, so, when we go in and out of relationships very quickly, very much in the same way that Olivia says, we were going to give it a shot. And then a week later, he's like, I don't have feeling, I have to back out. That's kind of what I feel like is a constant.
Like he seems scared. He seems afraid.
Exactly. So I think if you were to ask Madison, or you just watch any of the seasons where he's dating anybody, there's always that kind of subtext where he's like in, he's out, he's in, he's out, he's in, he's out. It's never quite very serious. It's kind of two dimensional.
He's not sure of himself.
Exactly.
That's really what's going on.
So I think he's the type of guy that you want to take a chance on, and it's there. So to answer your question, why do people stay and why do people continuously, fight? Because they know that it's because they can see it. They know the qualities are there. And I think that they think that maybe if they give him time, maybe if they are kind of there adjacent and will date, but we won't be too serious, that he'll eventually get to the place where he's ready to shit or get off the pot.
They want to be the change. They want to be the one that changes.
But he's not, but I don't look at him like a Shep where Taylor's looking at Shep like, I want to change him. Most of the women that he dates aren't going into it thinking, I want to change him. They're just like, well, yeah, I get it. Like, we'll go slow. It just feels very innocuous. And then before you know it, it's 9 months later, and you're like, oh my God, it's a year later. It's over a year later, and we haven't, like, oh my God, have we really even dated at all? Like, if a tree falls in the forest, and no one's there to hear it, doesn't make a sound.
Right.
And I think that's how they feel. They're like, they look back and they're like, oh my God,
well,
it's been like a year, and I don't think we've ever really had a real commitment. And it's just like an aha moment.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
I mean, I'm not looking forward to this
psychological analysis
Olivia ends up dating, but I guess we'll get to that at a later point.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, no. Okay. Now that we're here, initially I thought, let's recap it. Let's go scene by scene, but maybe we should just go through people.
Yes.
Let's just kind of like see where we're at, right?
I think that's a much better way of doing it.
Yeah, I think so. With this first episode.
It's the first episode, guys.
Yeah, and I think this will be an opportunity for Betsy to ask me certain questions that maybe the listeners will want to know, but I'm not going to be, not because I'm not forthcoming, but I'm just not going to think about it,
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we'll see.
All right. Well, Craig and Paige.
Love
making coffee.
Well, I did clock. I was like, why are we seeing the coffee being poured twice? It's ice coffee with real milk. I did think about Lauren in the scene.
Did you?
Because I love when Paige was like,
I
love when Paige was like, and milk. Are we the only two people left on the earth that drink cow's milk? And I said, nope, Lauren does.
I didn't catch that the first time I
I
watched
put it in my notes
and then
that I'm
I
not looking at.
Well, then I heard her say, and then I saw the face that she made, and I felt very
Listen,
seen.
good company. You, Craig, and Paige drinking that cow's milk, baby.
What does that say?
I don't know what. I don't know. Oh, and my parents. My parents. So you have at least a few people there.
Hmm.
I actually think there's probably a very, very good population.
No
that
one wants to admit it.
drink
Okay.
some milk. Got milk, baby. There's a reason that those retired. That ad.
Well, yeah,
yeah.
we find out they like milk. He's making her coffee. And we,
Iced coffee specifically.
iced coffee. And we do see it
love
twice.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that either until the second time I watched it. So we see them making coffee, and then we see them go outside to the pool. And then we see them come back in, grabbing the coffee to go sit back down. I think the scene probably started with them just being inside and talking, and then they go outside to look at the pool. But because the pool and the construction is very tethered to Craig in their future, we see it in the narrative.
Yeah.
They probably had a hard time editing that, so it felt a little wonky.
Yeah. Well, and if like you watch the beginning of that scene, he's not saying let's make coffee. He goes, "Let me make you an iced coffee," right? Because what we see when he goes out to the the pool and the construction, he has his hot coffee. So I'm sure he already had his coffee. But then when we go back in, we see that same shot of him pouring the cold brew over the cow's milk, and then they proceed to sit down.
Yeah.
Another reason I love Paige, I don't know if she only drinks cold brew, but I only drink cold brew, so.
We'll have to ask her. We'll DM her.
Yeah.
Let's DM her.
Cold brew
Paige, if you're
only.
listening, let us know. What's your coffee order?
Yeah.
I was really happy to see Craig's kitchen.
Look like a house?
Yes.
It looks great.
It's been a fucking dumpster for years.
Honestly, I feel like since, the beginning of time, since the show aired?
Since he bought the house. Yeah.
Yeah. So even off air.
Fucking dumpster.
I mean, this has been under construction.
His hand, remember?
Oh my God. Right.
I think he got drunk one night and he was like, I'm doing demo with the butter knife. And so
oh my God.
He tried to stab the drywall.
That's my man.
And it went through. Imagine a butter knife. Now,
oh my God.
If you want to get cut, you want to get cut by a sharp knife, not a butter knife.
Think of how hard you have to be working to split your skin through a butter knife.
Well, then he didn't get it checked out for weeks.
Of course he didn't.
So now he has permanent damage.
Of course.
It doesn't bend properly, I think. There's nothing wrong with his hand. I don't think I ever paid attention.
Well, listen, I can't attribute all of this to Paige, but I do think maybe there's an aspect here that like maybe he got a light lit under his ass to get this fucking finished because maybe now she's in the picture. Because this went on for far fucking too long.
Well,
and he just didn't seem to care that much. It was an afterthought.
The reno was supposed to happen during 2020. And because of the pandemic, everything got delayed.
But I feel like this has been going on since like 2016.
I know.
Is it just a feeling that I have?
It's like, yeah, because it's been like season 5, 6. But by the time you get, it was supposed to happen in season 7. Essentially, he was supposed to start
well, then I guess
it's
it's not that bad. I guess it's not that bad.
It's just been a really long time coming, and it looks beautiful.
It looks great.
I never got to experience that. So filming in his house is a fucking nightmare. He has very low ceilings. These men on the show are very tall.
They are
very tall.
Yeah.
So I think they flashed to him making Paige coffee in his living room. Yeah, that was me. I was there that day. Every time I went in there, I had a panic attack because it was just.
You felt like you were getting suffocated?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it looks great now. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I'm so sorry you didn't get to be.
I'm mad. I was like, this is beautiful and cool.
Yeah. Fuck you.
I never got to experience that.
Yeah. Well, maybe when he gets the pool finished.
It's done.
But
beautiful.
Maybe you can go see it now.
Maybe.
Now that it's complete.
So what did you think about that? How do you feel? Okay, so I'm looking to you.
Okay.
Overall feelings on Craig and Paige.
Okay.
Her feelings towards Charleston. Her feelings towards the hot tub.
Okay. Oh my God.
Her feelings to the construction. I mean, yeah, what are you?
Little vibes on Salt Lake City, bacteria. I don't get in hot tubs, bacteria.
She was in the hot tub with Andrea
and
on Summer House. Winter House.
But it's our bacteria. And she's like, all right, next subject, we're moving on.
It's our hot tub. It's our life.
Well, I did
John and Kate +8.
I haven't. We gotta watch that together. Meaning, I have to watch it. I've never seen an episode. Listen, there's to me a desperation with Craig.
Yeah.
That he so badly wants her to love Charleston. Like, it's obvious to me. So much to the fact
Is it
that I think,
obvious?
so much to the fact that I think he's a little delusional at the end of the episode when he's like, Paige, we talked about it, and she'll be here 70% to 30% in New York. And I said, is Paige saying that, or are you saying that?
Yeah.
And because the concerns that we've heard from Paige is that she doesn't really feel like she has an identity here. She doesn't have any friends. She works in New York. Like, there's too much color. That's what I love. When they were talking about the fucking furniture, and she's like, black and white. And he's like, what about purple? I'm moving out. I'm done. Like, there's so much comedy with this relationship, and I think that, I don't care what anybody says, I think that they actually are a good mixture, a good mesh. I think they can handle each other. She's very tough and stern, and I think
she's a very good match for Craig.
Yeah, and like he likes to kind of be pushed around. He also likes to kind of feel like maybe he's the alpha, even though he's really not. But like he might wants to, but like I feel like they're a good balance in that regard. And it's probably one of my favorite scenes of the episode. I got to be honest. I really like them. But I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting the balance on how they figure out. Because now we're filming. Let's talk about like breaking the fourth wall, right?
Sure.
Now we're filming Southern Charm. So obviously Craig is going to be in Charleston for, he's not going to be traveling back to New York, maybe as he would when cameras were down.
Correct.
So, and we even saw a little bit of that when he was talking about like, oh, you're not going to be at Madison's party. And she's like, no, I'm not. I'm not going to be here. And he's like, well, don't think that I'm going to go see you. Well, I didn't ask. Like,
by the way,
when
she was like,
her.
I didn't. Okay.
Just so you know, I can't go see you in New York when you're going to be there for 2 days. Yeah, I didn't ask you to.
She also had just spent 2 weeks there.
Exactly. The reason I
when
like
you coming
Paige,
back Saturday? What? So if there's only think about it. There's only 7 days in a week,
right? Mm-hmm.
So
every week
it has. So whatever day they're in has to be of the same week that Saturday's in.
Sure.
Because she would have said, I'll be back in a couple weeks.
Right.
Right? If it was longer than that.
Saturday, which is probably what, 3-4 days maybe?
Like, exactly. Like, are you okay?
He loves her. And
he really does. He's a hopeless romantic.
I know that people gave Paige a hard time with like Summer House and like her not really ready to be married and all that kind of stuff. I also really admire Paige being in a committed relationship with someone who she loves, but also fighting to not lose herself and her identity in the relationship. I think what she's fucking doing.
I think it's so interesting because when you kind of juxtapose different relationship dynamics across Bravo, on one hand, women empowerment, we want to see women make their own choices, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
But a common thing that I see on, especially like Reddit or really just Reddit, is when people are talking about Paige discussing those types of things and how she feels about it, they for whatever reason they kind of grasp that there's not just a cold feet that like maybe Paige isn't as in the relationship as maybe Craig, or there's an inauthenticity to it.
Yeah,
which is interesting to me because she's 30 years old, and she just turned 30. So I really believe. I mean, I believe that she has an identity in New York. I mean, look what she does. Look at her career. Right. Craig has a career, sure, but he doesn't. His career is not centered around the identity and the style of like Charleston. Sure. He doesn't have a clothing line, or
he's just comfortable there. He has an identity there. He likes it there. Yeah.
So it's just, I don't know. I find it interesting. I do believe her when she says that she doesn't want to lose her identity.
I do too.
Yeah.
So. I did. So listen, there's probably most people, I would assume, most people watching Southern Charm probably watch Summer House. I'm a betting woman. I would imagine that
they do. And
9 times out of 10.
Well,
probably
they do.
Watching it.
And I want to ask you about this, but you can answer it after whatever you're about to say. But
well, okay, what?
Well, some people don't like that they're on each other's shows. They feel like they're getting too much of both of them. I think one thing that I saw was like, I don't want to see another storyline, or like I have to watch another season of a storyline where we don't know, if Craig or Paige is like really in it. Are they going to commit? Are they going to get married? What I have to say is that they were filming year round.
Yeah.
So if you're interested or curious what it's like to see a storyline that is an entire year of a show,
right,
or entire year, this is what it looks like.
Yeah, there's probably not that much change, guys,
There's
within
not.
like 6 to 7 months. You're still kind of talking about the same stuff.
Yeah.
And maybe because I'm biased because I like them, I'm okay with it. It doesn't bother me. Maybe if I didn't, maybe I'd feel differently, but it doesn't bother me at all. And I feel like, yeah, we're kind of talking about the same thing because I know we get the trailer and the flash of like Craig being like, well, if we're not going to get married, what's the point? What, are we not moving forward? So it's like, yeah, I get that maybe we're having kind of some repetitive conversations,
Sure.
but what I was going to say is that in that scene, when they're talking about like commitment or whatever, they flash to that summer house scene when she's like, I don't know if I want to move, and I don't want to be with away from my mom, and she kind of starts crying,
cry, yeah.
and then the way that they cut to Craig makes him seem so cold-hearted, even though we know that that's not actually how the scene existed.
Sure.
But like, I'm thinking if someone never saw Summer House, they'd be like, "Wow, Craig's a fucking asshole," and I just love that.
I know. You're such a Craig
love
sympathizer. Love
No, I'm
that.
throwing him under the bus during this scene, but I'm just saying that they made him look like an asshole. But I think probably most people probably watch both shows and they know actually how the scene unfolded. But listen, I'm here for both of them. I'm here for the house. I want to see more scenes of the house, really, than any other character in the show. I'm here for it, other than Little Craig. I love Little Craig.
I think I'm going to be resentful every time I see a
I
scene
know.
like this.
I'm sorry about that. I'm
know.
sorry that I can't share that with you. I'll be your balancing partner.
That's okay.
I love it.
You win some,
And you lose a
some.
lot. Yeah.
Madison's at home. She's also in a new house.
I have to say
With
that I'm
Brett.
actually really, really excited that we get Madison as a full character.
It's a full-time cast member.
Yeah, cast
Well, she was an
member.
A cast member last season.
Well,
We didn't see as much of her
yeah, I feel like we didn't see as much.
because she got engaged.
Yeah. And she did that bizarre, what was that, the Amazon thing she did? I was so confused by that.
When she
That was so
when she announced her
cringy.
engagement on Amazon.
What's this? What? It was so awkward.
Yeah.
No, I'm here for Madison because Madison
it was very
delivers the sass.
I love Madison. It was
Cringe.
very awkward.
Cringe big time.
Yeah.
No, but this was the first time we're getting introduced to Brett.
Did we get really introduced to Brett?
I
Brett
did.
spoke one word.
That's enough for me.
Was it?
Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah.
I saw the
Firefighter.
little,
Chief firefighter.
yeah, I thought that was pretty hot. I saw the little goofy little, water ball or whatever.
Oh, they were
fight
playing laser
doing.
tag.
Yeah.
Hudson and Brett laser tag in the front yard.
I also love the name Hudson.
A good name.
But yeah, I was into it. I'm interested to see how much insight we're going to get on the marriage within the season. Obviously, we don't really have any
Do you mean
idea.
like when you say inside, do you mean just more of them at home or just
just them together and like, yeah. I mean, I'm not imagining there's going to be a bunch of conflict right away.
No.
But yeah, just them together and like talking and hanging out. Just like, who are they? Who are you, Brett?
I hope so. He seems very shy.
Mm-hmm. Well, what I will say, the introduction scene when they were at the house with Hudson, I actually was like, oh, I kind of like this guy. Seems nice. I like
Yeah.
him. At the party, he seemed really out of his element. He seemed super fucking awkward.
Very out of
Like
his element.
like super uncomfortable, which I can like. You have to give a little like leniency, right? Because
Yeah, not
you're
everybody-
filming a show and it's
Exactly.
awkward, and I get it.
Exactly.
But and listen, not that anyone's ever gifted me in public a vibrator, but like he was so uncomfortable. He was like,
my God.
and he was so fucking uncomfortable.
What sucks is that obviously we don't have a say in who's being cast on shows, and especially if you've been a part of a show for a very long time and then you start a new relationship, that's always kind of the conundrum.
Yeah.
Are they going to want to be on the show?
Sure.
Are they not going to want to be on the show? Which is it sucks for viewers, especially when you see a cast member on a show that we know they're in a relationship, but we don't see that part.
Yeah.
And we kind of get it a little bit with Jenna on Roni.
Oh yeah,
but
yeah.
The truth is you can't make
Somebody want to be a part of it.
exactly. You can't. For me, what is really fucking annoying are the cast members who they'll like kind of like denigrate and demean their partners, and I'm talking about their partners being the cast members, and kind of talk about the show as if it's very cheap and tawdry and like, I can't believe you're a part of this.
Yeah.
But they love the fandom, or they love the following that they'll get on socials from it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at Matul. So somebody like that.
He was so gross. I couldn't stand him.
I know this anecdotally, but he didn't like the show. And I think that
But he liked the fandom.
He made Naomi feel like shit.
Well, I know
for
that.
being a part of it. And like you got like it's one thing to not want to be a part of it.
Right.
It's another to also commit yourself into a relationship, know you don't want to be a part of the show, and then talk about it and make your significant other feel like
shit
beneath you.
Well, and also to go into it knowing that she's already a part of the show. This isn't some
That's
new
what I
show
mean.
that she just got cast.
That's what I mean.
He's like, oh, let's see what happens. This is someone who had a reoccurring role on a very established show.
It's okay. Yeah, it's like okay. It's okay for you not to want to be a part of it, but you know that going in that like they're a part of this, right? He was just
don't shit on the hand that feeds you.
Exactly.
Or
So
bite the hand that feeds you.
And he's not the only one that I can.
Sorry, I don't know where I went with that.
He's not the only one that I can reference, but that to me is what
he
sucks.
was bad and he was really controlling, and I'm so glad she got away from him.
Gross. So anyway, somebody like Brett just probably he's just not accustomed.
He's trying to survive.
Yeah, he's doing
just
the best that he can.
Existing in like,
we got him to sign a release. He's a part of it. That to me is a feat in and of itself.
Sure.
We're moving forward. We're onwards and upwards.
Sure.
Now, am I going to expect him to really, be very comfortable? I don't expect that. I will be pleasantly surprised, but it's always kind of tough.
Well, but I'm okay with that because Madison can go over the top.
Yes.
Right? Madison can drive every single scene.
Yeah.
So even if we get like a scene like we saw tonight where they're just kind of at home eating ramen. Is that what that was? Like, yeah.
Martha Stewart?
Yeah. Also, her house looks beautiful.
Beautiful.
But like even just like a scene like that that's very light, I want to see that. I just kind of want to see them existing together. I'm not expecting to get like really deep and
because they're also newlyweds, like you said. So you're not going to expect like
a lot of
where are we at? Meredith and Seth, like what are we doing after 26 years? We're not going to get that. Yeah. So
do you want to do a podcast together? Newlyweds.
No, but I agree with you. I really want to see more. I'm excited to see more of those types.
I'm just happy we have her because
Same.
I think that she adds.
She's a star.
She's a star. She has the sass. She has the charisma. She can call people out, put people in their place. I really, really like Madison.
I heard you gave her chlamydia.
And also it's her accent. It's her accent that sends me over the edge. Like, I know that some people probably think she's kind of a villain. I don't give a fuck. I love the villains. I'm here for all of it. She adds the entertainment for me.
I'm not going to give you any legs to stand on because you can barely stand on your own.
I mean, like, listen to all these one-liners we have. Beta bitch. You're a pussy. It's like, I honestly,
I'm going from the majors to the minors, to the minors to the majors. Okay, I got my own line wrong.
There you go. That's okay.
Yeah.
Dyslexia. She is the equivalent of three men, right? Like she has the personality and the stamina of the three new men that we're gonna get. She can do it all on her own as one woman. Don't you think so?
Yeah.
I mean, I wish we were getting another woman, but
she's like a share. She's like a one man show.
She's all we need, baby.
One man variety show.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. She
adds a lot of color to the show.
She does. I'm here for it.
Same. I think. Well, here's the thing. If I'm gathering that Brett's a little shy, it makes sense. Can you?
Oh yeah, good balancing.
Very good balance.
Well, and it could be one of those situations that, like, when obviously cameras are down, everything goes away. He might be more of the alpha, and she could be more of kind of step down and be more comfortable, be more vulnerable. But I like that we can kind of have, a different vibe on screen because obviously he's a little bit under the weather.
He's quiet. Yeah.
Which is fine. Yeah. I honestly liked him.
You think he's hot?
I thought he was cute.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would say he was hot. I think he's cute.
Okay. Just curious.
I think he's cute. He seems like someone that like hangs out on boats a lot, maybe. A little bit. Like,
I get that.
Yeah.
I can see that. It's a vibe. It's an energy.
I mean, I wasn't as insecure about his body that Austin was. Austin seemed very insecure, but I thought he was cute. Now she's a knockout, so like she's so beautiful. And I think she's a 10. He's like, I would say a 7.5, 8. I thought he was cute.
Okay.
I don't think he's hot. I think he's cute.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like a little Labrador.
And I love labs.
Okay. I feel that. Now,
what?
I was going to say the producers. I was going to say the producers, but that would also include me, and so I don't want to be included in that.
What? Say it. Say it.
The post producers, the post team, or the network. I'll bunch them together.
Yeah.
They never miss an opportunity to remind us how much of a loser he is. Okay.
Austin.
Now,
No.
because Madison in
I
her confessional,
know.
she's like,
You said this last season too.
Yeah, yes. It's like it's kind of very Tom Schwartz too. You know what I mean? Before Brett never had brought a real like a man around.
Correct.
Right. And she's
Hudson, yeah.
exactly. So she
Yeah.
she sees them playing and she just feels like we have a family.
Yeah.
And not that my ex-husband's not a part of a family, but Hudson's never experienced a couple together under a roof,
Yes,
raising him.
dynamic,
Yeah,
yes,
dynamic.
yes.
Dynamic. Such a fucking weirdo. I don't even know what the fuck I just said. But anyway. And then the producer kind of like throws to, well, what about Austin? Well,
And Q Madison, baby.
yeah, Q reunion. He was never involved. He only got himself involved when cameras are around.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I just,
Do you think that that's true?
it's not like, I don't think it was only,
You think it's a yes and a no? There's a little truth, little.
yeah.
Okay.
I think we can all slay. I
Okay.
really do think that it's a little bit of both.
Okay.
I will say, and we've talked about it before, when you know that you're about to start up with the season, you start to have your reptilian brain
Yeah.
where you start really thinking more through the POV of the show. And sometimes I think that gets murky mentally. And so sometimes I think cast members just won't think about it in the same way. But like, it's hard. It can be hard to ascertain what you feel like they're doing because now we know we're about to go back
Yeah.
up and what lives,
Right.
and rooted in
And-
truth and the whole truth
Yeah.
and nothing but the truth.
Authenticity. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
so I
it's like,
think a
let's
little
go
bit
get
of
ice
both.
cream.
Yeah, I don't
Stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't think that Austin and Hudson had a relationship.
Sure.
Like that. I don't think that was ever really present. But going back to what we were talking about earlier, and you were asking me like why are these women, these knockouts, so attracted to him? Well, if you're
Yes.
one foot in and one foot out, I think that that's also going to translate if you have kids. That kid's going to feel, or that mom or that father
Right.
is going to feel one foot in, one foot out.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that that's probably more of what it is.
Okay.
Because you're not really committing yourself. How can you really commit yourself to really being there for,
a child. And like a family dynamic, family unit.
Yeah.
Wow.
I also think that, believe it or not, this is going to be really surprising to people, but I don't think that Austin is the type that wants to always have a relationship that's central around his narrative and like where he's at in life on shows. But the last 10 seasons would prove
Well,
otherwise.
I don't disagree with that. He just
Yeah.
can't get out of his own way.
I know. That's exactly what it is.
And I just,
Yeah.
and even this sad, I hate to use this word.
He
but
means
like,
well.
pathetic. Like this pathetic scene where he's like, I just never thought I was going to be the guy to, I
was so in love
want to
with
have a
her.
+1 to a wedding. Like, to me, the disconnect comes a little bit, like if I'm thinking about him with Shep to me needs to be someone who's just not monogamous.
He's more of a vagabond.
Right. And like, be who you are. I think he just has some tie that he's like, I have to be traditional because of how I grew up, all this stuff. But I've never really seen Shep being like, I really want to get married. I want to have kids. But
Never.
I feel that with Austin. I feel that like Austin wants
That
to settle
connection.
down. He wants to have a family. So that's where like the disconnect comes for me. It's like, and to me, this is where maybe the insecurity comes in. Like you've had so many women that I can't even believe.
Look at that montage.
Yeah,
Chelsea, Victoria,
God, Chelsea's one of my
Madison.
fucking favorites. But yeah, all of these
Olivia.
amazing women, and he just can't.
He can't get it out of his own
can't
way.
get
He's a
it together.
self-saboteur.
But when you look at your life and what you really want is a family and to like have a +1 and have a partner, I don't understand why you can't at least try to fake it until you make it and figure it out. I don't get it for him.
This is why I encourage all of my cast members to go to therapy.
Well, they should. Because they probably have the allowance to go to
That's
therapy.
scary. People don't want to learn about themselves in that way because
I get it.
It's
I get it.
the unknown.
I get it. Listen,
I get it too.
I get it. I really do. I do.
I don't want to know what fucking attachment
But
style I
how
have.
scary it is to watch yourself on TV
I know.
go through this kind of stuff. And I don't know. Well, you have to tell me. Does he watch himself on TV? Because I know some people don't. I know some cast will like not watch the show.
Sometimes.
Okay. It just reminds me because I've been catching up on Watch What Happens Live.
Craig does not
and-
watch the show.
Of course he doesn't.
I don't think Austin does either because if you remember in the season 7 reunion, Craig and Shep both are like, we had to force Austin to watch these episodes because he needed
About
to
Madison?
see exactly. He needed
Yeah.
to see what of it was so that he could come to the reunion knowledgeable and prepared, for what
Not
we
look
got.
like a total fool.
Yeah.
I will say, I know we're kind of jumping all over the place, but the
Guys, I know. I hope we're not. I
that's
hope
okay.
this is still
This is
engaging
just
enough.
Yeah, the party,
Okay.
and I keep calling it the engagement party, but like the post wedding party, whatever the
Yeah,
fuck it
the
is.
Charleston wedding event.
He looks like he's still so in love with her.
I
like
know.
he looks at her like she's the one that got away. Like he looks as if they broke up a week ago and she met someone in Vegas and got married. And she's so happy.
She's a very strong personality, and I think that he just gets nervous.
He gets flustered.
Yeah, but it's not rooted in still having feelings for her.
Yeah,
it's
but
just
it's
more
lost on
rooted
me.
in.
It's lost
I know,
on me.
I know.
Because I watched that and what does he have that I don't have? And I'm thinking, oh my God.
He's a vibrator.
It's ticking. It's ticking. It's on a bomb though. It's on a bomb.
Oh my!
It's just a vibrator. But don't open it here because Taylor's also going to give you a vibrator. You're going to open it on camera. It's ticking. It's vibrating.
Ticking time bomb.
It's just so weird. God, he was so awkward. He was so
Really awkward in that
awkward.
moment. Well, so Madison invites him to this event,
Yes.
as we know. We've just talked
Two
about it.
dotes,
But
baby.
I think people on Reddit, because I'm using Reddit as a reference.
God, I
this episode.
love because I don't ever go on
I
Reddit.
I feel
What
like
are
people
they
on Reddit
saying?
were like, why would Madison invite him? That doesn't make sense.
Why wouldn't she?
Well, because she's good. She's going to invite him. She's going to be.
Yeah.
She's always going to be inclusive.
Mhm.
I don't think that she's thinking, how's Austin going to take this? I think she's like, come or don't come.
Mhm.
But she knows he'll come.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Guys, because when you're on the up, you're not really worried about the down, right? You're not worried about the people on the bottom. So Madison is living life fully right
I'm going to
now.
get a phone call after this episode, by the way. Can't wait. Guys, here at Reality Bites, we tell the truth. My butt is clenched, but it's fine. Okay. I need an enema, like Shannon Bedore.
Well, you can go to my number. I just won't answer. But well, unless it's Craig or Paige.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like I think
Sure.
because it makes her look like the bigger person. She's moved on. She's married.
Well, yeah.
And also,
Why
You're
not?
just doing the cordial thing,
Exactly.
inviting him. Y'all are in the same social circle. It would be awkward. And it would look, honestly, let's think about it the opposite way. If she didn't invite him, that would look petty as fuck.
Exactly.
I'm going to invite Shep. I'm going to invite Craig. I'm going to invite everyone else, but I'm not going to invite Austin. Why? Because you're hung up? Like, why can't you invite Austin?
Yeah.
So to me, she did the exact right thing. I don't care what the motive was. It was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And the right thing to do was to show up. And so good for him for showing up.
And as we've talked about before, you don't have to invite everybody.
Right,
So,
right.
you know, he
Yes.
was going to show up, okay?
Yeah.
He was going to show up.
Yeah.
Like that birthday party on the beach. And she was like, if you're not going to get your shit together and you're not going to act like a human,
I
then
forgot about that. And that
you're
was the
disinvited.
windiest day ever. That was the most uncomfortable beach. As a viewer, I'm like, they look so uncomfortable. It looks so cold, so windy. Everyone looks miserable.
yeah.
And then here comes Austin.
I just had a PTSD flashback.
Yeah, I bet so. I haven't seen that in probably like 3 years. And I instantly went back there.
Very windy.
So windy.
Very, very,
That's
very
why I'm actually
windy.
really impressed
Everything
by
blew over.
equipment because I'm
Oh,
so impressed
God.
at how much we didn't actually hear the wind on the mic.
Yeah, they're called a windscreen.
Oh, on the mic, like
Yeah,
what
so,
the
um,
cast is wearing?
Yeah, so if you're looking at our mic
Right.
and you see I have this filter
Yeah,
on it.
uh-huh.
So you have the mic, then you have the filter, and the
Yeah.
filter kind of helps you with the puh and the.
Yeah.
So what the windscreen does, it's furry. If you've ever seen like a boom, which is what audio, so
Yeah.
it's furry and so it catches the wind.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I was very impressed.
Yeah.
But
Well-
yeah. Shall we talk about the ladies?
Yes.
The ladies?
Rollerblading.
Oh my God, I loved it.
Love rollerblading.
It took me right back to elementary school. That was
Did
the
it?
last time I rollerbladed.
I think the last time I rollerbladed was maybe college.
Well, I did take a roller derby class when I was at the hotline. So that would have been when I was 22. But that was roller skates. The last time I really rollerbladed was when I was in elementary.
Oh. Did you miss it? Did you feel nostalgia?
Yeah, I did.
You did.
Especially with what they were wearing.
Okay.
It was very throwback.
See, this is the scene that really kind of put a spotlight on the color
oh,
correcting.
the coloring.
Because
it was-
everything was really green
yeah.
and everything else was very muted. Because even
Yeah.
Taylor's wearing leggings, right? And the
Right.
super green.
Yeah.
He was very pumped up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just don't clock things like that. But
It just feels like maybe they were. I mean, I don't I don't know. It felt like maybe they were on a funky setting, so the best they could do was color correct like this. By the way, it could just be an editing choice, but you don't see that in some of the other scenes that are indoors. That's when you notice it the most.
So you think maybe it looked a little whack, so they had to go kind of overboard and
Yes,
to
they had
kind
to
of make it seem like it was normal life.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. It just felt all the
These
green was
are
very
humans,
Well, it was very
after
like
all.
Miami green. The green was very green.
Yeah. Well, Lauren pointed out to me that this was what, January, you said?
Yes.
I was baffled.
January 2023.
But I also remember in that scene when they're rollerblading that there was a Christmas tree.
Yeah, right in the middle
And
of
I
the little
thought,
pond.
Oh, okay, so this has to be around some type of like holiday. So it makes a little bit more sense now. But to me, it's kind of like a Beverly Hills. It's hard to really understand what season we're in because we don't have snow on the ground. We don't have things. So it's like, I don't really know. And like, if you look at the men, they're wearing jackets and coats and stuff. But if you look at the women are not.
Now,
So it's kind of hard to really know what the weather is actually like.
for the most part, the show was always filmed in the fall. And that was kind of consistent. I think you would see plaids, you would see more long sleeves, maybe light jackets. And then season 7 was in the dead of summer. So everyone's in shorts and t-shirts and, flip-flops, which is a problem. The network doesn't like that because it doesn't look good. It's Southern charm. Why are we seeing Shep wear flip-flops?
The flippy flop.
Or like, why do they have their shirts off? Everyone's hot. Like, everyone's looking sweaty.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just hot.
Yeah.
So we rarely see them in a different season. So I think that's probably why I don't think anybody's really thinking, oh God, this feels so different. I just don't think anybody understands the timeline. Just period.
I don't.
Especially with the Taylor and the Austin and all that stuff. So yeah. We're in January. They're rollerblading.
Yeah.
We're getting a check-in. This is the check-in. This is what we're we're getting, again, State of the Union. We're finding out where everybody's at. We know that Taylor and Shep broke up. We get that at the reunion.
Yeah.
And the reunion. Oh my God. Sometimes I just forget how the reunion.
How many
so
flashes
wild.
do we get? We got at least like 3 or 4 flashes.
Yeah, we
of
got a
the
we got a
reunion.
few.
Yeah.
But we're seeing Taylor for the first time single. And we're seeing Olivia, well, for some of the audience, we're seeing her for the first time single. For most of the audience, we've always seen her single.
Yes,
so
she's single.
that's hard to differentiate. But yeah, so we're seeing them single. They're experiencing living in, well, no, I'm sure Taylor was single before Shep, but this is Olivia's first time single in Charleston. And they're single together. She's like
Friends.
sister wives.
Friends forever.
God.
Yeah. So this scene kind of, I saw it twice. And I experienced it 2 different ways because, the first time I watched it, I wasn't aware of the timeline because I wasn't paying close attention. And the second time you were like, watch Taylor, because you can see it all on Taylor's face. Like that I think you said like she's trying to disassociate herself from this like conversation.
Yeah, it felt like she
specifically
was
talking about Austin.
It felt like
I felt
she
it
was
that
just
time.
trying to disassociate. When somebody's talking about something that makes you uncomfortable, period, no matter what the subject is or the topic,
Yeah.
you're just kind of you're listening, but you're like you're kind of like passively listening.
Yeah.
You're
Hard to use a little gun.
Yeah.
Protection.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, down under. Olivia's just in it. She is in that conversation. She
Yeah.
is very present and she's very connected. Olivia's definitely not picking up that. What I think I'm picking up on.
I don't think so.
She's not at all. No, she's
I
not.
don't think so at all.
Yeah. That would, yeah.
But it makes me kind of sad because even in the confessional, Taylor's like, we're like sisters.
I know.
And I imagine, looking at the trailer and knowing what we know, like I imagine it's, shit's going to hit the fan. Things are not going to go very well. And it kind of makes me sad because I feel like they really did bond. They bonded from their both of their breakups. I'll put one in quotations, but both of their breakups, they bonded. And this scene, I was like,
It's a bummer.
it is a bummer. It's a bummer.
I wasn't expecting.
They have chemistry.
They do.
They have chemistry together.
And I wasn't
really
expecting
do.
to feel the way that I did at the end of it. I wasn't expecting to, for me personally, just like to see so clearly that there's an uncomfortability and it's palpable.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is sad. They bonded. They were very, very, very close. And they're, by and large, they experienced their first season as actual cast members together.
Right.
And Olivia lives across the street from Shep. So that on top of that,
that's why she was saying, like, well, I haven't
Exactly.
seen the car. Like, I don't know where he, like, I don't think he's home.
yes.
Okay. That makes
So,
sense. I did not know that.
Because she lived across the street, or does live across the street, they just naturally would spend a lot of time together.
Sure.
And that's kind of where their bond grew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Man.
It's a bummer. It's a bummer because Taylor's going through something.
I know.
And obviously we'll get to that in a little bit, but she's going through something, and this type of behavior is really indicative of the kind of pain that she's experiencing.
It's an outburst.
Exactly.
In a sense.
And if what is they're implying is true, sometimes the person that's just there is the person that you go to and that you lean on. It's natural to kind of connect through that pain.
Mm-hmm.
Very similarly to somebody who is stuck in a house that's burning.
Yeah.
If the firefighter comes and saves them, you'll hear stories where those people will date or they'll get married. The person who saved me, right?
Kind of trauma bonding.
Exactly. You're trauma bonding.
Yeah.
And so I think that sometimes when that happens and, you get together with someone through that, it doesn't necessarily equate to anything. And I think that, again, if what they're saying is true, I just wish it wasn't Austin. This would have probably happened, but it's Austin, right? And you're just like, oh, okay. A good example of this is Whitney and Naomi.
Okay.
They date, right? And they really did kind of have this, dalliance, if you will.
Right.
And it was rooted in their bond and their trauma bonding over losing their parents.
Okay. Yeah.
They don't end up dating. It's not a big deal.
Right.
But it's kind of similar to that.
It's a commonality.
It is. It's a commonality.
They experience and they're vulnerable. And
the bad part about this is that it's Austin.
Right.
And that's the problem.
Well, and I think there's like a level of also convenience, right? He's there, he's around.
And he was there for her.
Yeah.
You recall in season 8, he points out that the way that Shep talks to her is awful.
It's bad.
And he really felt that way.
Yeah.
And arguably still does. And that, I think, was very difficult for him to do, feeling like he was going against or behind his friend's back, right?
Yeah.
But what I will say, and this is another reason why I think a lot of people like Austin, is that those are the moments where his loyalty really shines through, and that never wavers. So it was seeing something like that is very difficult. So then they experience that together, and I think there's just so many other things that kind of lead to these moments. And we're not thinking with our head, our big head up here.
Well, and you're in so much pain, and you just want.
I'm talking about Austin.
Oh,
we're not thinking.
I went back to Taylor.
Yeah.
I just listen. I give Austin the hardest time,
Mm-hmm.
but I do think that he has so much goodness within him. Like I really do, and I know he's close to his family, and I know he had the trauma with his sister and stuff. So there's so much about Austin that I find so endearing, and I really like, and I always want to root for. I feel like he's the definition of he just shoots himself in the foot.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like he cannot get out of his own way, and I just kind of want him to be,
sure of himself.
Secure. He has what's his beer called? Hop something.
Trop Hop.
Like, I think that probably is doing very well. Like to have your own beer, and that's a fucking great success. Like he has a lot of stuff going for him, and I just wish that he could really believe that he had a lot to offer instead of pretending he has a lot to offer and then, falling down the hole of just
think about
self-sabotage.
Think about the women that he dates. They're very, very, very confident,
Yep,
strong,
secure, yep,
direct.
Yep.
Very secure. They're very sure of themselves.
Yep.
Chelsea, sure of herself.
fucking love
Madison,
Chelsea so much.
sure of herself. Olivia,
Honestly, the
sure
women,
of herself.
and Olivia,
Victoria,
fucking
sure of
knockout.
herself.
Yes, all of
They're
them
all
are just
sure of themselves.
amazing.
So I think he's attracted to people that he sees something that he lacks within himself.
Okay. That's probably his best quality.
Yeah.
His best quality is picking women. He just can't follow through. Like honestly, I'm realizing it now.
Yeah.
He
having an aha moment.
Yeah. His superpower is picking wonderful women and just not knowing what to do.
Correct. Think about his mom.
Well, I don't really remember his mom. I can't.
Well,
really...
if any of you guys are familiar with Wendy and seeing her on the show, she's very.
Is she strong?
Yes.
Okay.
She's. How would you describe her? she's just very sure of herself. I mean, she's obviously wiser. She's older, so of course she's gonna be sure of herself. But his sister's the same way. His sister's always like, God, okay, dope, idiot.
Yeah. Well,
And she's 10 years younger than him.
Honestly, like, to me, that's an attractive quality in Austin, is that he likes strong women.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of men out there that wouldn't be able to handle a strong woman. And I don't know that he can handle it. I mean, he hasn't done a very good job, but he at least goes after it and he tries.
Yeah.
And I like that.
Yeah.
I feel like he's on the right path. He just has to
Get out of his way.
Yeah, he's got to figure it out. He's got to get out of his own way and keep it moving, baby. Keep it moving.
Keep on, keep it on.
But it's not Olivia. Olivia needs somebody else, and I don't want Olivia to be with this other person. Rod?
No, yeah, that's not gonna happen.
I don't want that.
No.
Olivia?
No, I'm sorry.
Olivia, I don't know if you're listening to this, but you're a star.
What?
Dynamite. And I don't know what this guy is, but it's not it.
It was weird.
Your mouth.
It was really weird.
That kiss was rough.
Woof.
Yeah, Buzz, your
Okay.
girlfriend.
Woof. Okay. Heather gay vomiting or that?
Oh
or
my God.
That kiss.
Honestly, I'm horrified to say, I don't know.
Okay.
That's
We'll come back to that.
That's so scary. That's a jump scare. Jesus.
Ride or die. They are ride or die.
Yeah. God. Well, that's what Taylor says
I
in her
know.
confessional. And then she laughs. She does like a nervous, like, and it's like, okay, ooh, that was weird. That was telling.
So Taylor is lamenting. We're hearing from her what she wanted.
Right.
She wanted the full package.
Right.
Let's have kids. Let's get married. Shep didn't want to change.
Mm-hmm.
We also remember last season that she quit her job. And we get that too. We again are reminding us.
Mm-hmm.
She quit her job. They went traveling.
Yes.
She was fighting. He didn't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I will never fault somebody for entering in a relationship that I think a viewer will see as they should have known what they were getting into, because you want to have experiences on your own without having to view it through the lens of a television show.
Sure.
And Taylor is one of those people. So that I want to preface that by saying that, sure, she may have known, but she's a person that wants to give everybody their own opportunity. She wants to make her own assumptions and observations. She wants to experience that all on her own, okay?
Mm-hmm. Fair.
So I just want to say that. However, in this scene, we are already almost a year after the breakup. I'm not putting a timeline on when people should be, done processing. I mean, how many seasons did we see of Austin processing Madison?
Oh, well,
So
counting this episode?
Sure.
8?
Okay. So I never want to put a timeline on
Sure.
process.
Yeah.
However, I'm left a little question mark
Okay.
because it still feels like we're not that far away from the breakup, or like the breakup kind of just happened. Not because she's not done processing, but I don't recall ever feeling like she felt confident that that's the trajectory Shep was going on.
Yeah.
We see it. We see that she's not confident. We see that she's like flummoxed that he's even asked her to quit her job. But
Right,
now we're almost
right.
a year later.
Yeah.
And it kind of feels like it's regressed to a time that we never even really saw. We're seeing her say things and using kind of the rhetoric like I thought I was getting this. Like I like basically the rug was ripped from under my feet.
Yeah.
I mean, how are you feeling about that?
The timeline is very confusing for me, because I will say when I watched the scene, I honestly, I thought it could have been like 6 months, 5 months, 6 months, right?
I think it's a very easy assumption.
I was not sure that it was a year. The same way that like when Shep was like, I've been away for a while. I'm like, what does that mean? Like he's been away for 2 months, 6. Like I didn't understand. Like the timeline is, and I understand they do timestamps specifically with like Austin and Olivia, like 2022, October, whatever. But like the timeline is a little bit all over the place for me. So when I'm watching this scene, I'm not even thinking, oh, it's been a year. That's one thing. The timeline's confusing for me. I think the second thing for me, I don't know this to be true, but I wonder if, since Taylor's introduction to the show is Shep, she came on as Shep's girlfriend. I wonder if there's an element to her that she doesn't feel like she has an identity on this show as of yet without Shep. So her scenes have to be consumed about talking about the breakup and how devastated she is with Shep, right? Like, we don't know her individually yet as Taylor, a single person in Charleston. We know her as a couple with Shep. So I wonder if maybe some of that is her not knowing her identity as herself on the show.
I think
maybe.
Well, I didn't think about it like that, but I think that that's absolutely I think
could be some truth to that.
Oh
right?
yeah, absolutely.
Whether it's subconscious or not.
Oh, absolutely,
Like,
absolutely. Which is why she's so uncomfortable at the event.
Oh, so that scene between she and Shep at that bar was so uncomfortable, so cringy. And I don't even, y'all, I watch a lot of really weird shit and I don't get cringed out. That lab, I felt uncomfortable.
Yeah. It was a real moment. They were both.
I think it, yeah.
No, I'm telling you, they were both.
I think it was.
Oh, Shep was very uncomfortable. He was very nervous. He was very awkward.
He seemed nervous really the whole event.
The whole event.
Especially that scene when he's talking to Olivia and he's like, what should I say?
When do we ever see him popping around?
Okay. And it's like, oh my God, what? Like, it just felt so weird. Like, Shep, baby, it's okay.
Well,
breathe in, breathe out.
When do we ever see him, popping around asking? When do we ever see him asking people for advice?
Very rarely.
Okay, ever. And when somebody gives it, he tells you to fuck off.
I kind of liked it though.
Yeah,
I kind of liked when he was so authentic and he looked at Olivia and he's like, "I'm lost.
No,
I don't know what to do."
I am telling you, this is we've never seen this Shep on the show in any kind of real way.
He is lost in a certain sense.
He's very uncomfortable. He doesn't know what to do. He feels bad. I think with the show, especially like Southern Charm, I think I'm gonna present this to the viewers. Okay. I want you to start looking when you start watching the show. Start looking at it through the lens of these men hate themselves more than you realize, and they hate themselves more than you hate them. Okay.
Yep.
So
I agree with that.
Exactly. So the Shep that we're seeing is a Shep that knows what he did, right?
Hates it.
And hates it and is like, this is just me. Is it just him, or is it the person that it's a self-fulfilling prophecy?
Yep. Yeah, I think it's that.
And some men, some women, people just never get out of that. Sometimes we just don't get out of our own way.
Right.
I mean, I'm speaking from experience in that I've been doing TV for almost 12 years. And to this day, I'm like, I'm not good. I'm awful. I suck. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm like, sometimes I'm like asking my fucking A2, I'm like, or my audio soup, like, how was that? Did you think that was a good scene? Sometimes we just like, sometimes I go to that place where it's like, it's not validation.
You're never good enough.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that sometimes that if we don't work through that, because I think it'll always be with us, but if we don't work through that, it'll always be with us in a way that it can be damaging. Like very much like similar to like how we were talking about Austin earlier, right?
Yeah.
So I think the person that you're seeing is a person that's like, this is who I am. I know it. Like a little self-loathing. And a little, maybe again, a self-saboteur. And you wonder why Taylor stays around? Well, because she sees a goodness in him that maybe others don't quite see because we don't have that full scope of who some of these characters are on these shows, right?
Sure.
And it's two people who still, I think, have a lot of love for each other. I think one person's still in love, I would argue. The other person's trying to process what the fuck he's even feeling and doesn't know what that is. But we see it all over his face. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and even at that scene when it kind of blows up with Craig and Taylor, Craig goes over. Well, I guess it was before that. Craig goes over to Shep and they're talking, and Craig's like, she's going off now, blah blah blah. Just fucking forget about her. And Shep's like, well, me, I'm a weak guy. I'm a weak guy around the women. We all know that. But I'm not a guy that's like, okay, she's gone, come over. And I believe that. Like, to me, I've always said that I don't think Shep needs to be monogamous. I don't think Shep's malicious. I don't think Shep goes into an evening being like, I'm gonna fuck that girl.
He's not Ryan on OC.
No, he's not.
Exactly.
No, he's not.
Yes.
And I think he's selfish, but I don't think he's malicious. I don't think that monogamy is the way for him, but I do very much believe that he was very much in love with her. I mean, he looks broken. He looks fucked over. And I'm telling you, he looks haggard as shit. I don't know. And listen, I know he's in his 40s and he looks good for being how old he is. But for a man that has just gone on a 5 to 6 month, tour around the world, he looks tired.
He doesn't look rested.
He looks fucked. And I think he feels I think he is so sad. And I think, to your point, I think that there's part of him that hates himself for doing this to her because he loved her. But again, can't get out of his own way. And listen, it's like fucking, what's her face, Samantha on Sex and the City. Monogamy is not,
it's not for everybody.
It's not for everyone,
We've talked about this.
And that's fucking okay.
I think we talked about this last
You don't need to be monogamous, but baby, if you don't want to be monogamous, don't be in a monogamous relationship, okay? If it's not natural to you, that is okay. And I think that that's Shep's situation. And I think he struggles between not wanting to really be monogamous and not wanting to hurt people, but then also being so tied down with this traditional value of like, I must eventually
wanting that
have
consistency.
kids and have a wife. Like, I think that he's wrapped up in that. But I don't really think that that's what he really wants if he's being honest with himself alone.
Yeah. It's a push and pull effect.
Yeah, but I think that he hates that he hurt her. I think that this scene at the party is so telling because he looks so... I've never seen him, and even with that cringeworthy scene with Landon, I mean, like, I think I like you. Like, he doesn't even look as uncomfortable in that scene, which was so fucking weird.
I love you.
Maybe I am, yeah.
She's so
like,
annoying.
he is so uncomfortable during this entire event scene because he's so worried about, like, is she gonna say hi to me? Like, can we be cordial?
We're seeing
Can
him
we
vulnerable.
be friends? Yes. Because he cares about how she's going to perceive him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We forgot to talk about Shep and Little Craig in the car.
Oh, I love little Craig.
I know. Picked Little Craig up. Hasn't been home.
He's like, Craig, do you remember that over there? We're gonna go through the balls.
The little bridge.
Yeah.
Remember that water? Remember that smell?
Craig's like, who the fuck are you? No, guys, dogs actually don't have any concept of time, so.
Oh, they don't?
Mm-mm.
What?
They don't.
I never even thought. I say that like, oh, what? It makes sense,
Well,
but I don't.
I
never thought about it, I guess.
They don't have concept of time, meaning like if it's been 6 days or 6 months. That's why you see so many of these like heartwarming videos of like vets coming home after years and their dogs, like they see them and they jump on them and there's like so much excitement. They don't have any concept of that. They might have concept of like, oh, it's been an hour and it's been 6 months, but really they don't.
I'm so sorry.
They don't know.
I'm a little stoned, but I'm thinking, does any animal have a concept of time? I mean,
No.
it makes sense.
Well, cats don't either.
I don't know. I was so shocked.
Don't think they're elevated.
They are.
Don't think your cats are elevated over my dogs.
They are. My cat looks at me and
also-
then looks at a pillow.
also,
and
I
he's
know
like,
they
wanna
are.
lay-" Yeah. My
I
cats
said
talk
that
to me.
knowing that I was wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, little Craig. Oh, I loved that. And then how deflated. Talk about Shep being deflated. How deflated he was when he comes back home and he's like, I know, Craig, it looks different, doesn't it? It's different than what it looks.
So
Clean.
clean.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wasn't even grasping that it was so clean because he just hasn't been home.
Yeah, he hadn't lived there.
Yeah.
And Taylor's not there.
Yeah. I felt
I know
really
it feels
clean.
different, but I kind of relate to Shep in this way because Craig feels nothing. Little Craig, I mean. Little Craig's like, I'm back in my element. I'm having a good time. And Shep's like, I know you feel different. I know this feels different for you. No, it feels different for you. Little Craig is doing okay.
By the way, I
Little
think
Craig's back rubbing on the carpet. He's doing his weird things. He's having his breathing issues, as Frenchies do. Little Craig's okay. But I just love that Shep's like,
Here's the
this
thing.
is different. I know it's hard. Because that's what I would be telling my dog, knowing for fuck sure that my dog was like, I'm okay. But like, I know you're having a hard time.
we see Taylor later on kind of project her anger towards Craig. And what's interesting is that we see Shep projecting his feelings towards little Craig, which through that transcendence is also Craig.
Yeah.
Big Craig.
is.
Human Craig.
Oh my God. It's the same tunnel. It's the same tunnel.
Shep and Taylor are both projecting. They're
Confiding and projecting little Craig. They take on different entities, but they're the same. Okay? One's much more understanding. I'm looking at you, little Craig. One really understands. Yeah, you're right. Oh God. Well, but we get that, like, in that scene, we know that Taylor has a new dog named Penny, which tripped me up because I was like, oh, Henny, which was one of my dog's
also-
names. I was
is it
like,
a-
wait,
Is it a Frenchie?
no, it's not.
No, Craig.
Well,
Little Craig's a Frenchie.
Little Craig is, yes.
Yes. Also, Taylor's dog is a Frenchie.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Okay, I honestly, because that scene was so fast, it was such a flash. The dog I'm thinking of is the dog they see when they're rollerblading. And they call it
the little corgi.
And the corgi, and they call it a skateboard. They're like, it's basically a skateboard because it's so low to the ground.
I want to know if the corgi signed a release.
I didn't know that she also got a Frenchie.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Shep's hoping they can be friends, and the dogs can be friends.
I feel very.
Bless his heart. I mean, come on. There's no harm in trying, baby, but.
Well, because I think a person like Shep, even if there's a world where he was like madly in love with her still, and like, oh, he's really feeling all this, he'll repress that and just be friends. He could do it. He could be fine. So I think that he is probably thinking about it like, well, why not?
Yeah.
Should be fine.
Right.
Yeah. So, but
even though Craig's like, stop it. Big Craig's like,
I think little Craig also told him stop.
Yeah. He's like, I don't even remember.
No.
I don't, yeah. But yeah, Big Craig was like, let's stop trying to be friends with our exes. Okay. Let's close the door on that.
Well, because he says it to his mom when he FaceTimes Fran at the house when he comes home. And then when they go shopping.
Yes.
Okay. For the party.
Yeah. Craig's like, stop.
I mean, he's pitching this idea. Every scene that we've seen Shep, he talks about it. He's trying to get the finger on the pulse. He wants a confirmation bias. He wants one person to say, I think it's totally a good idea and it will absolutely be friends. And no one's doing that quite yet.
Well, and I think that there is truth. And I think Taylor actually says this towards the end of the episode when she's screaming at Craig. I think when she was like, he's just trying to feel better about himself. And I do think that there is an aspect of that is true. Right. I think that there is a big part of it that Shep feels terrible. He's sad that he didn't want to hurt her. But I think there is also an aspect, if we can be friends, then I can feel better about myself. I can feel better that
we're okay.
I hurt you. Yeah.
Maybe I didn't hurt her as badly because she's in a place we can be friends.
We've made it over the hump. Like, we are in a place
I'm not a bad guy anymore.
Yeah. I'm not a bad guy. We can coexist. We can be cordial. We can be all these things. So I think that there is an aspect of that is true.
Okay. I didn't think
about
it like
that is also why he is so desperate to be friends with her. Not because he just wants to be friends with her. I mean, I think there is an aspect that he probably misses her and he misses the camaraderie, whatever. But I think a big part of that is that it will make him feel better about himself. Like, I know I'm the one that fucked this up, but if she forgives me and she can be around me and she can tolerate me, then I can tolerate myself.
Yes.
And I can sleep better at night. I can get through this, right?
Yeah, I think that is.
I mean, she doesn't, so it's a rough deal for him. But
no, I think he's also bore witness to other relationships that have ended on the show and what that looks like for them. So I think he's trying to will it, he's trying to manifest, like a fucking dream board. You know what I mean?
A dream board and a dream catcher.
He's one for nightmares and then one for dreams, for goals.
Yes. He's doing everything he
can.
How
lofty they may be.
Yeah, he's doing everything he can. Yeah. But
Craig shuts that down fast. Craig is the person that Craig shuts everything down. He's like, absolutely fucking not. Remember at the reunion with Austin, he was like, I am like literally, I've got my foot on Austin's head in the gutter and I'm like, stop. You have to stop.
This is when Craig kills me though. Because I believe, beyond a shadow of a doubt, if he could, he would want to be friends with Naomi. I really believe that. Now, it's not going to make any sense because they don't need to be friends. Maybe there's too much going on there.
Yeah.
But I think he's like, his poor excuse of reason being like, look at me last season. We don't need to be friends with our ex. He was a mess last season with Naomi. That was a disaster. Okay. And listen, and I'm someone who stands for the relationship he's in now, but that was a fucking mess. So you should not be the example.
I don't think the same Craig and Paige relationship then is the same one that we're seeing now.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I'll go out on a limb and say that I felt a little differently then than I do now.
I wish, I mean, like I said, if you're still with us, I think 3 hours ago I said that Craig lights my fire and then he blows it out. So when he blows out my fire is when he does stuff at the end of this episode where he's like, you know, yelling at Taylor and he's like, I'm not the one that cheated on you. He cheated on you. I feel like Craig sometimes lacks the ability of thinking about other people in other people's situation, right?
What?
He can't quite, he's not an actor. He can't sympathize. He can't walk in another person's shoes. He can't sleep on another man's pillow. Okay. For him not to be able to understand that Shep would want to try to be friends with Taylor, I just don't get. Like, everyone is different. Everyone has a different, relationship experience. Just because you can't be friends with Naomi doesn't mean that, and just because Austin and Madison had a fucking diabolical situation, doesn't mean that Shep can't attempt to try to be friends with Taylor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he just can't quite see it that way.
I think sometimes Craig can be a Vicky. They have to experience it first, and then they're like, well, I know how it goes, so I know it doesn't happen. But we have season 5 and season 6 to show what that attempt of a friendship looked like with Naomi prior to meeting Paige, prior to what I would say he was processed. Okay.
And he had a hard fucking time because I think he was still very much in love with her and wanting to be with her. So,
and then we get to season 7 and then season 8.
Yeah.
And we see Naomi's, she's brought back to the show.
Yeah.
And I think that she felt very comfortable wanting to pursue a friendship with him because I think she felt as though that there was an open door to that.
And she was ready for it.
Yeah.
Like, she was fine.
So I think he has an idea of what it's like to try to be friends with somebody. I think maybe he may not want to acknowledge that and verbalize that because then that would, it makes you party very much in the same way that people don't want to apologize. They're like, I don't want to apologize because then that says I'm accountable for that. And I did that. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with you. I think that this is the first time Shep's ever experiencing this. Right.
Correct.
And I think that questioning whether or not they can be friends or believing that they can be friends is not something that is out of the realm of possibility. It may be a little delusional.
Right,
but just like Craig and Austin and everybody else who's experienced this and thinking that they can be friends with their exes, you got to give him some space to figure that out on his own.
Right.
Yeah. So I agree. I echo everything you're saying. Did you also notice that Shep was wearing the sweater in the mannequin? Was it the mannequin or was it the picture?
Oh, no, it was the mannequin. Only the second time around.
I call it like the Blue's Clues sweater.
It was Freddy Krueger.
Yeah. Yes, by the way, better.
Off-brand.
Yeah.
But yeah, because literally the shot, I think we paused it at one point. It was Shep here, and then the mannequin was like right behind him, adjacent. I was like, oh my God, they're wearing the same fucking shirt.
Oh yeah.
But,
Oh yeah. It's funny.
I loved it. Yeah, comedy. Guys, you have to always look for the comedy, no matter where it is.
Speaking of, Austin and Errol Flynn.
Oh, okay. I actually really liked this.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. I did. I loved when he was, he looked him up and he was reading about it on his phone. They talked about how he loved an Olivia and Austin liked an Olivia, and they talked about that.
Oh, that's right.
And then he's like, this guy's my grandfather. Like, honestly, the commitment to the line saying this, he's my grandfather, I actually kudos, baby. I really, really liked this confessional. I did.
Yeah.
I thought it was fun. When you can make fun of yourself and you can be light and you can be fun and just whatever.
Taking him a while to get there.
Okay, well.
Where he can make fun of himself.
Well, I mean, we only have one scene, but I was there. I really, really liked it. I did. It's my favorite type of look. Don't take yourself too seriously.
God, no. But I think everybody takes himself too seriously.
It's the grossest look on a person.
Yeah.
Stop it.
No. Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah. Austin, if you're listening, I'm kidding. Okay,
He definitely turned it off by now.
Oh. Yeah.
Or maybe not. Maybe he's, what do they call them? A masochist or something?
Also true.
Yeah.
Also true. I could see a world where he would just hate listen, and then stand in front of the mirror in his bathroom and be like, stop it.
Stop. Oh my God.
I
don't want to
getting
see
ready
that. Stop. I don't want to envision that.
Yeah.
As much as I shit talk these people, I don't ever want to think about these people actually really having a hard time and in pain.
No,
Makes me so
of
sad.
course not. Of course not.
Comedy.
I'm not laughing at anybody's pain. You know what? I have pain too.
I know,
okay?
guys. We have pain. We bleed too. Okay,
But Do I not bleed? Tickle me? Do I not laugh? What I'm trying to say is that I'm saying that me personally as a producer, I have pain too. Okay.
Yes.
Watching this season is breakthrough pain. Okay. Like I'm just still feeling the pain, but nothing is helping.
She's in the background pain, which is the hardest.
Seriously.
It's the hardest.
So Austin also was talking about like, where he and Olivia are at, kind of, and he mentions to Shep and Craig that that Taylor says that if he wants to make it work with Olivia, put in the effort to be friends with her.
What does that mean?
Fuck.
Show up? I don't know.
If I know.
What does effort mean?
Boilerplate. He boilerplates things. This is a theme.
Show up.
Show up. Show out.
We don't know where, but show up.
Exactly. Because you didn't know what that meant.
Yeah.
Think about dating him. You're like, am I in? Am I not? Am I?
Well, this is my problem with Austin. Do you want to date her or do you not? I just don't understand.
No, this is about their friendship, like where they're at. Like,
Okay.
He hasn't seen her in a long time.
Well, why do you want to be friends with her? Why? I'm asking.
Maybe it's the same. Well, maybe it's the same reason that you were saying, like Shep. Maybe he wants to feel like everything's
totally
okay.
different to me because they were in a very committed relationship for years, and I think we talked about it. He wants to feel a little bit better about himself. That's a different situation. Why does he want to be friends with Olivia? I'm asking.
Comfort, stability, things that you look for in a relationship.
Because he likes her and he likes her company,
Mm-hmm.
and I just don't. But he doesn't. He has to have it his way. You can't have it. You can't have everything.
No.
And in the event scene when they have that dreadful breakaway, and it was very quick. It was like a minute and a half, 2 minutes. But he's like, oh, I sent you that text because I guess she says, where did she go for Christmas? I don't remember. She went somewhere.
She went to Sedona.
Yeah. Okay, Sedona. And he was like, oh, you were there? I wish I would have known.
When I asked.
I asked. I texted you. And then you know what? I sent you Merry Christmas. And you know what? You thumbs upped it.
And you chose not to tell me where you were.
She goes, yeah, I didn't want to text you.
Mm-hmm.
And then, in the best way possible, she goes, what do you want from this? What do I need to give you for you to feel better about this? Yeah. Nothing. Okay, all right, great. And then it ended. Mm-hmm. Olivia's an all-star to me, so I just...
It kind of gave me... I don't want to sleep with my husband, so I'm just going to give him a little handy real quick. I'm like, what do I need to do?
To
like
me,
Danielle with Carl. Like,
oh my God, little handsy.
Carl, what do I need to do to calm me down?
Yeah, and then give me some fries.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, shake and bake.
Tell me what I need to say.
But you talked about identity at the beginning of the show. What the fuck was that about? Why couldn't Austin go to that scene and be like, well, I just want to be friends with you. Like, I know we kind of ended weirdly, but like, I just want to be friends with you. Instead, what we got was, well, I sent you a text, but you just emoji.
You chose.
You
chose not to respond.
You chose not to respond, and then when
what
you
gave that away?
all
The
you
lack
did
of response?
was the emoji. Well, what do you want? I want nothing. Well, then why are we having this fucking conversation, Austin? Crawl on out of here, bitch. I just can't. I can't. Like, I just want him to pick a fucking lane. Stop. I just want him to figure it the fuck out. Have an identity.
I'm crying.
Why?
Because I'm so upset that I never came up with that and told somebody to say that to him. Crawl the fuck out of here.
I just came up. I honestly forgot that was saying until now. Crawl out of here, baby. Come on.
Oh my God.
I didn't think this was going to have that much of an impact. I just went with it. I just felt it as passion. I'm just so annoyed with him.
I'm going to tell Olivia to listen to this part. I'm going to give her the time code. Oh my God, I'm crying. Okay. Depends by Lisa Rinna. I literally just peed myself. Okay. You know his Instagram name is from...
I don't follow him on Instagram.
How to Lose a Guy
I don't know
10 days.
Wait, are you serious?
Kroll the Warrior King.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Kroll, what? Okay, no, I don't follow him on Instagram. So shocker to nobody.
Fuck off. She follows no one, okay?
I follow the Below Deck crew. That's why I'm so excited.
The people with like the least followers, their social media engagement is like an impression is so
Honestly,
low.
I do the Below Deck crew, Garcelle and Denise.
Okay.
And maybe that's it.
All right.
And Lisa Barlow, of course.
Fine.
Oh, I didn't know that, but I love
Yeah.
that. Well, anyway, all right, we're back. We're back.
Well, okay, so real quick, we're gonna leave the scene. Gotta go. Gotta go.
Gotta go, baby.
I am. I'm shoving that landing scene. I gotta get the fuck out of here. Maybe I love you.
Maybe I love you.
Cry.
So cringe.
At the end, he has this Oprah Winfrey aha moment, and he's like, it's just been beaten to me that it's me. I'm the problem.
Okay, Taylor Swift.
He absolutely was channeling Taylor Swift.
Of course he was.
But no one has said that. It didn't land.
No, because we don't want to say that in the same sentence.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
You are the problem.
Craig went to go see Taylor Swift.
I think I did. I think I did because I've seen every single thing on my TikTok.
He and Paige went to go see.
Well, yeah. Oh, I didn't know Paige was there.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess that makes sense.
So Austin went to go see Beyonce.
Okay. Respect. Respect.
Mm-hmm.
Respect. But you are the problem. It is you.
Mm-hmm.
It is. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I just figure it out.
Maybe we'll get there.
If you want to,
we're 35.
If you
36 now, thriving.
He's 35.
He's 36. He's 36 now.
And Craig's our age or
35.
Okay,
be 36 this year.
Why have a conversation if you don't want to have a conversation? That was the weirdest conversation for me. That was bizarre. And then the Taylor and Shep was uncomfortable. Oh, and then obviously Taylor and Craig was delusional and wacko. So a lot of emotions.
Well, I mean, we get the guy. Okay, so the guys get to the house and they come
from the limo.
So I wish that they had done more with the limo. Because the limo...
that was confusing as
Craig
fuck.
bought the limo maybe a year and a half ago or so.
Yeah, Lauren told me this, by the way, when I came over, because I was like, why the fuck did they show up in a limo?
He bought it
and she told me the backstory, which made way more sense, but we don't get that in the show.
No, and I think he really bought it for him and Austin because of the podcast and the whole thing, whatever. And then it was broken down because it's from, I don't know, 2005 or something. Okay. And he needed to get fixed and kind of refurbished and whatever. So they arrive in the limo, but I'm like, we did nothing with the limo. It's a part of, it's just kind of such a joke.
It's like a character.
Yes.
Use it as a character.
Sad. I was like, what?
Well, we didn't even get, the least they could have done is said Craig's limo to open up a conversation and be like, wait, Craig has a limo?
I know.
They didn't even do that.
Missed opportunity. I was like, oh,
Well, it just kind of goes back to what you said earlier. We have no real arrival scenes. We have nothing about them in the car. All we really have is Olivia and Taylor.
I know. I don't need that arrival.
That's why they're
care about that arrival.
They're centering the episode around them, though. Yeah, and I think it's clear.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's obvious. But
yes, it is.
Crystal clear, baby. But yeah, the men.
He brings that fucking bottle of what the fuck ever.
Well, we don't know what it is. He was like, "Don't shake it.
It's a bomb.
Don't shake it." I was like, "Is it champagne? Why?" First of all, how much lack of confidence do you have in Madison and Brett that they're going to take your gift and shake it immediately? Well, who shakes gifts anymore?
Well, what's funny is that...
Don't shake it. It's a baby. By the way, it's a baby. It's a baby in there.
Christmas Vacation with the cat.
Oh, I know. Remember, because that had holes in it.
Yeah, the cat's in the little box. So
maybe he watched that and then wrapped it up.
Maybe.
Honestly, I would have so much respect.
What I forgot to say earlier, because we had talked about this already, but when Brett goes and puts it away, he goes to give it to somebody to put away. He's
he makes a joke.
Yeah, but about being a bomb.
I actually kind of like that. He goes, it could be a bomb. Be careful. I actually kind of like that. That was the most natural he was during this entire event.
Yeah.
That was all on camera. Yeah, it was awkward. He was uncomfortable. And listen, I can't judge him on that because I can understand that.
Yeah.
But nobody was more awkward than Austin. And, I always pay attention to the music. The music is my favorite part of these episodes. And every time there's an awkward moment, we pan to Austin. It's like, it's like one of those horror movie pianos. It's like a jump scare. And they never miss an opportunity to make him look super silly. And just he's always caught off guard.
Always.
And the music always just elevates everything.
He can't be by himself. He thinks Craig's going inside. And then Craig... pivots and walks elsewhere. He goes, turns around, follows back, U-turns, follows back, does drive-bys.
Oh my God, did you see when he, first of all, how long it took? And granted, we don't really know, but like they made it perceive like it took him a very long time to get to her.
Now imagine, imagine he's like 6'4", so he's big. Okay,
Yeah, you can't miss him, I imagine.
no, but imagine like it's like a cat.
He
It's
feels
like
small.
Yes, like a cat who
feels small.
hides behind a curtain, but their tail sticks out.
Yeah,
and they're
a
like
little.
they don't realize like it's like Elf. He's like he doesn't
Yeah,
realize that
he
he's
doesn't know
that
how
big.
big he is.
He
Yeah,
thinks he's
yeah.
that small.
Well, the scene where he comes in and kind of teeter-totters around like, oh, should I go?
Floor is lava.
Was embarrassing.
Yeah.
And then finally he makes it over to her, and then it gets even more embarrassing. As Shep says, yikes. Yikes, as he walks
I was
walks
proud.
away. You were proud of what?
Olivia.
Oh.
I'm just saying in that moment.
Oh.
I didn't say that earlier, but I was proud.
Oh, yes. Well, I'm
she's
talking about
super
when
proud.
when he goes
Oh,
to
you
Madison.
meant Madison.
Yeah.
Oh, I was also proud. Okay.
Well, because he's like, thanks for inviting me. Also, Brett, thanks for inviting me too.
Should I give a speech? Let me give a speech real quick. Wait. Oh, no.
Honestly?
Wait. Like, if you're going to call attention to yourself and then pretend like you don't know why everyone's looking at you, I don't know what to tell you.
No, actually, that to me, I actually
This is why Madison invited him.
Well, this is what I'm going to say. I actually like this about Austin, and then I doubled down because I loved it from Madison.
Yeah.
Because to me, Austin was just trying to be like, it's like such a total dad joke to be like, oh, and also, just kidding. And then Madison's like, no, what are we going to say? Say your toast. Say it. And he's like, congratulations, couple. Yeah. Like, made him look so stupid.
God, y'all 6 weeks in your honeymoon?
Oh my God.
Get
Can I get the blueprint? Can I get the itinerary?
Yeah, Madison's like, I'll email you the Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah, we made a sex tape. I'll give you that too, baby.
Stop.
I just, bless his heart. He was so. This was the title of this should have been Uncomfortable / Men. Other than Craig. Craig didn't give a flying fuck. Shep was uncomfortable. Austin was really uncomfortable.
3 men and a little baby.
And a baby. Craig.
Little Craig.
Really
Yeah,
though.
exactly.
Yeah, little Craig.
No,
Okay.
you know what? It is 3 Craig. It is, 3 men and a little baby.
It's more like 3 baby and a sort of a man.
Madison, Shep, Craig, 3 men, and Austin, little baby.
3 baby and a Madison.
Yeah.
That's really what it should be called. Okay, well, before we get to the Taylor and the Craig of it all, the explosion.
Yeah.
Before this, we get Craig really talking to Vanita, also Olivia. Taylor comes in a little bit late, but we get him talking to the women being like, listen, Paige wants to live here. But Paige has no friends. And Paige wants to be 70-30, which I call bullshit. But he's
No
basically kind of
fucking
like
way.
telling the women like, hey, like if next time Paige is here, like I get it. I'm guilty of this. When Paige comes into town, we're homebodies. We don't do anything. But
Yeah.
when Paige comes here, we want to kind of engage. I want y'all to have a girls' night, have fun. And the girls were like up to it. Olivia's like, I would be down. I don't really know Paige, but like, yeah, I'm down for that.
Well, she's like, does she like me? Does she like
That's what
us?
she says, yeah.
Yeah.
And I can understand that as much as I love Paige. Like I can understand feeling like maybe there might be like some coldness.
Well, I think
or
she
like
thinks it's kinda
she's
weird.
Standoffish. Well, right.
So
She's
that's
kind
like-
of like,
Well, I couldn't tell if
a
this was
male
like
ordered bride, but like friendship.
Yeah.
Sort of.
I couldn't tell if this was like a utility move where they just kind of needed to set up Paige hanging out because if she's going to be in Charleston more, you're going to want to see her outside of Craig,
Of course,
right?
yes.
So I was like, is this a utility move where we're just kind of like using this as an opportunity to kind of set up that we want to see Paige with other people?
Sure.
So he's just kind of like saying, oh, like friends, because it also just feels weird. Like, I want to know what Paige, Paige watching this is like, oh.
Fuck no.
Yeah. Well, not that she doesn't want to be friends or hang out with them, but, like,
but she
look at
doesn't
Craig walking around.
She doesn't need him orchestrating anything.
No, like she's like auction. Like guys,
Yeah.
don't forget to go to the table over there.
No.
Put a number down.
Listen, I think it's twofold. I think one of it is that, and I think the other part is that Craig is so desperate for her to fall in love with some part of Charleston that she will want to spend
More time.
45% of her time. 70 is delusional. Delulu, baby.
No way.
Delulu. But
It is not
you know what I mean? Like,
70-30.
I think that there is part that is coming from sincerity. Like, he wants her to, because like if you find friends somewhere, yes, you want to have an identity outside of Craig.
But it makes
absolutely.
It makes more sense for him to do this with Madison. Like Paige and Madison.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, like actually, I take all of this back. This is weird. I don't like it. If it's a utility play, it's bad because this should be Paige and Madison. What the
Oh,
fuck?
They would be.
No,
I'm into
not
that.
would they? They are. They're like tight.
Oh, already?
Yes, they
Okay,
do.
okay.
They do like Amazon fashion stuff. Like they're
love
very
that.
similar in what they do
Yeah,
and how
yeah,
they make
yeah.
their income
Okay.
outside of shows. Yeah, this makes way more sense. What the fuck? Ew, I don't like it.
I don't like it. And Austin goes,
No.
Craig, we're leaving. We're leaving. I'm finishing up my conversation. Okay, we're in the limo that you purchased. We're gonna be in the limo. Okay, we're there. We're there. Okay.
No.
And then Taylor comes in, and Taylor's part of the conversation with Paige. And,
I disassociated.
I
I was like, I have to watch this, and I don't want to.
You floated from a cloud.
I felt the same way I would be being there.
Yeah. Taylor was like, yeah, I want to be friends with Paige. Blah, blah, blah. But I must tell you that in my relationship, you laughed. You laughed at me.
They're all gonna laugh at you.
They're all gonna laugh at you. Yeah.
The Carrie reference, in case anybody wasn't sure.
It is Carrie.
I don't want to leave you hanging.
Not the remake.
Oh, never.
Sissy, baby. Sissy.
Get out. Anyway,
I did see the remake, though.
we all did. I knew a girl that was in the movie.
Julianne Moore. Love it. Oh, cool.
Okay.
I love that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now we are starting to segue into
Segue.
cheating.
It went from like let's all hang.
Let's take a
to,
page.
you're a horrible friend. Laughed. You laughed at me.
I had to say, Craig, you laughed. You laughed at my relationship.
Oh my god, poor thing.
Austin told me. Austin, is that true? I said that you laughed at a behavior. Yeah, because he's a clown.
Wait.
I mean, this.
I didn't actually catch that.
So what Taylor?
Because this was like one of those like it went in the wrong hole moments, and I was like, "What's happening?"
And it happens so fucking fast.
Exactly.
So
It happens. It always happens fast.
Basically, Taylor was like, well, Austin told me that the day after we broke up, you called Austin and you were laughing. You were laughing about our relationship. And Craig was like, well, that's just not true. He's lying. Austin, what'd you say? And then Austin's like, no, I said that you were laughing about like Shep's behavior. And then Craig's like, yeah, because Shep's a clown. It's just so stupid. Here's the deal. Taylor is feeling a certain type of way.
Sure.
Okay. They've dated for what, 2.5 years?
Yeah, something like that.
Under 3 years, right? Okay. So I understand Craig's POV with the sense that, like, yes, his loyalty, his design is with Shep. That's his BFF, for a lack of a better word. It's a boys' club, baby.
And the women are not invited.
Gross. But it's a boys' club.
Well, Taylor didn't understand that. She was like, I finally understand what a boys' club is.
Okay, well, fine. Fine. So he's going from that point of view, like, you are my friend's girlfriend, okay? I'm going to stand by my friend. That's all well and good, okay? I can understand that. Where I get a little lost is you can't have any type of compassion for someone that you've known for 2 years. Like, to me, this is where the identity comes in. Like, they don't view, when I say they, I'm really looking at Craig. Like, he doesn't view Taylor as an individual. He views Taylor as Shep's girlfriend, right? Like, Taylor is not Taylor. Taylor is Taylor, Shep's girlfriend. So my frustration where Taylor is coming from, like, how could, like, I understand that Shep's your person. You're going to choose Shep. You're loyal to him. That's all well and good.
Uh-huh.
But you can't understand that I'm hurt and the way that you behaved is going to hurt me. And all I wanted is just so simple. All I wanted for fucking Craig to do is say, I get it. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. I didn't mean for that. That's not going to jeopardize anything but Shep. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings like that. But he can't do that. I didn't cheat on you. I didn't cheat. You're not mad at me. You're mad at Shep. It's not me. It's Shep. I didn't cheat on you. He's a cheater. What kind of conversation is this? My fire was out.
Okay.
My fire was blown out at that point. Okay.
Would you look at it differently if you now know that this night that is in question with, Craig intervening and stopping it happened in April of 2022. And this is January 2023. And she's saying this to him in a way that almost feels like, I understand that you're upset, but it's been almost a year.
But nobody's saying that.
I know.
Nobody's saying that.
I know.
So the context is lost on me. What it looks like is that he's an insensitive asshole.
Of course. And I get that. Now, do I think he's wrong? No. Do I think that he could have eased up on, how we're messaging? Yes. But also, I think that because it's been so long and because he also intervened, and she's basically saying to him, like, but he's a fucked up person and you're still choosing him over me.
Well,
That I think is what bothers him, because he's like,
I can
but I'm
understand
the
that.
one that stopped this. And now I've had enough. Okay. It's been a year. I don't think he's saying that she can't be upset, but I think he's like, basically, why are you now, like, why are you coming after me for what you perceive as like lack of doing, right? Lack of ethics in terms of Shep being a horrible person a year later.
Yeah.
And the type of where she's at the level that she's at, it's not that, again, she can't still be processing, but this is very raw still. And she is processing and she's going through and trying to figure out her feelings,
Right.
knowing that now Shep's like really back in town. I think that there's something to be said with like him being gone and her being by herself in Charleston. She's kind of out of sight, out of mind.
Right.
And
Yeah.
now she's like, she's almost, in a way, like we talk about the show, we expedite. We push conversations, or like
Timeline is sped up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This actually stopped and slowed down.
Well, and for her, she said this in the episode. Even Madison, who I'm not that close with, texted me. You didn't text me at all. I think there's just a part of her that feels that I understand that Shep's your friend and that's your loyalty. You're gonna ride and die for him, but he's the one that fucked up. I didn't cheat on him. I'm
So why do I deserve?
Like, why couldn't you
this?
at least send me a text message and say, man, I'm so sorry this happened to you? Same way that we criticized, and it's different, but same way we kind of criticized Tom Schwartz for not being like, my friend fucked up. I'm so sorry he did this to you, which, by the way, Schwartz did not do. But I think that she just so desperately wants to be seen individually from him, but also that she was betrayed.
Yeah,
And the problem is Craig can't give that to her.
No. I think she
And
wants,
Austin, I guess, sort of. I guess he did give it to her.
she wants to be acknowledged. She wants to say, hey, hello, like, why can't you acknowledge that I exist outside of Shep? Like, exactly like you
Right,
said,
yeah,
right?
an identity for her own.
And so then she questions, then what the fuck was our friendship prior to this?
Right, which is
Because remember,
apparently
she
nothing.
stayed with him during the COVID season. When she felt like Shep kind of like left her out in the wind.
That's right.
And Shep
I
wouldn't.
forgot all about this.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
And Shep wouldn't, well, she perceived it as like Shep didn't really
Yeah,
check
he,
in
like,
on her.
kinda rejected
And
her
Yeah.
a
He's
little
like, well,
bit.
I don't know what you want me to do. She's like, feel bad. I'm
God.
sick. Right. And Craig understood that.
Why can't you care about me as an
Yes.
individual person?
And
Why-
then Craig understood that and tried to explain this to Shep. Okay.
Well,
And they're all at Craig's house. And so she, through that, there's a bond. Okay. And I think that, yes, she's projecting, but I also think that there is a truth to, she's feeling the loss of, I think, the one person that she was probably arguably closest to prior to Austin.
sure.
Because Craig's that kind of guy.
Of the man. Of the
Yes,
men.
of the
Of the
men.
men, yeah.
Of the men. Because Craig is that guy. I mean, we see it last season.
That's what makes me disappointed in him.
I
That's
know.
what upsets me. All he had to say was, I see where you're coming from. I'm sorry about that.
Well, this was also a problem last season because Austin kind of was in the middle, but Shep and Taylor felt like they tried to ask Craig to hang out in the off season, and Craig was kind of just, he's dating Paige, he's going to New York, he's,
Yeah.
kind of just not there.
Right.
And Shep makes it clear that he tried. They miss him. Even Taylor says, like, I think at one point Craig drove by her when she was jogging, and she like tried to wave or something, and he kind of ignored it. And she didn't understand it, and they just wanted to see more of him.
Yeah.
But he deflected a little bit and kind of blamed it on, Shep being jealous. Shep's not happy for him. And Shep's like, no, we just miss you. Like, we miss you. And Craig's like, no, you want me to be that old guy, the loser. You want me, you want to
That's his
keep me
own
down.
insecurity.
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think that first of all, it's carryover. Secondly, I do think that there's something to be said with, well, if Craig's the one that stopped it, if he involved himself in that way, like, why can't he say, like, obviously, like, still acknowledge that I'm just there?
Right.
Yeah. So I think the both are existing at the same time.
I mean, Taylor seems like a mess.
She's a mess. This is not for a place on the show. This is not. This is her. This is
Right.
this is one of those moments where she came to and she was like, "What happened today?
But do we
Oh my God, I did
wonder,
this."
like, because it has been a year, and again, you process things how you process them. But do you think that maybe it's like she's been waiting, kind of bottling it up to explode
I
when
think
she can be back around him? I mean,
I think that although
or
it's been
knowing
almost a
that she has to be
year,
around him.
yeah, I think like at this point we're like about 10 months into the breakup.
Okay,
But I think of those 10 months, there's probably only about 7 of them. I think she still maybe thought there's a possibility that we can get back together.
got it. Okay,
And I think that once you let go of that possibility, that's when the actual processing of the
Yeah.
breakup actually starts to happen.
yeah, it's a death.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And sometimes it takes a long time to get there. So we're still very invested in the relationship just differently.
well, that's why we saw the coldness between she and Shep.
Yeah.
I think if she had processed and she was like, whatever, she would have been able to be a little bit more like, oh, yeah,
I think
how are
so.
you? Like, yeah,
I think
sure.
so.
Like, I went to London, I had a good time, blah, blah. But she was very, very cold and very, distant.
And then whatever she's having to like kind of repress or feign in that moment, it comes out. It starts to permeate, right? Like when you sweat, even if you get Botox in your armpits, you're still going to sweat the same amount. It has to get out elsewhere. Well, it did, and it was at Craig. Okay. And
Oh, God.
okay, so not to the comedy.
Yes.
She's not realizing. First of all, there's not that many people there, and she's not.
That's what I realized, though, at the event.
So you have
Like
to.
20 people, maybe?
Everyone can hear this, and she does not. She's not seeing that. I'm telling
No,
you,
she's tunnel vision.
this is.
She is annihilating him.
Oh yeah, I'm telling you, she got home that night and she was like, I don't know, like
She blacked
embarrassed.
out. She blacked out.
Absolutely.
Not by alcohol, but like she's just blacked out,
She just
out of body experience.
And
Yeah.
Everyone's watching.
Remember Madison's like, can we not do this here?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, no, it's happening, baby. It's happening.
Yeah. I think that if it weren't her wedding event, she would have said something different.
Oh, she would have gone off.
Oh yeah. I think so. Like just differently because this is her wedding thing. Like there's people there that aren't part of the show.
Yeah.
It would have been different. So that was like she was white knuckling that moment.
Bitch.
Yeah.
You beta bitch.
Yeah. It was just bad. It was really bad. She's going through something. This is the time. This is not a scene. Like this is not for a scene. It's not for anything like that. It's just like this is.
Well, and I think
what
we
it is.
will. Yeah, we'll dissect this kind of each episode as we go throughout the
Yeah.
season with the Taylor and the Austin of it all.
I don't
but,
think. Yeah, we're gonna see more of this. I think.
Yeah.
So buckle up.
Buckle up, baby, and a lot of dynamics. I think that there's some interesting things to unpack.
I think there's some things, some embers, some irons in the fire.
A little fire,
Yeah.
little fire, baby.
We kind of did like a character analysis. I think more so. Yeah.
Well, the first episodes are always tricky
They
because
are. They are.
it's a little bit overwhelming.
It is.
So
There's a lot. That vibrator.
Oh, we didn't even talk about that.
I saw on Reddit,
I've
somebody was
never
like,
used one. She like looks.
yeah. Okay.
Really? What?
So, well, she buys it for them because they're long distance, and so
I
she's
know,
like, right?
I know,
Okay.
that wasn't lost on
I did
me.
see somebody on Reddit was like, the producers definitely, set this up, and here's what I'll say about that: absolutely not. But if they mention it to us that they want to do this, I'm not going to say no.
No, you say okay. Sounds good.
Sure. Mortifying. I mean, embarrassing. And it was purple.
It looked like a little cacti.
If it had been kind of kitschy or something, or like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, it was very useful.
Yeah. I was like, oh,
It was actually
God.
for everyday
just-
use.
She's just going through something.
She is, and also she's young, right? She's,
Yeah.
Is
She's
she
like
in her
28.
20s or is she? She's 28. Okay.
Yeah. Maybe now 28, maybe 27.
So
No, 28.
God, dare I say this before we, get into the episodes where we find out things that are happening and, if people are going to try to, annihilate her, let's just have a little grain of salt. Let's just
She's in her 20s. I mean,
pump the brakes.
I slept with 2 brothers.
And also at the same time.
No, but, within 6 months of each other. So it's like, we've all been there,
Oh
okay?
my God. Monica, baby. Monica.
Yeah. And I worked with these people. This is when I was
Well,
straight. You know what I mean? Like I was trying to do like the straight
Well, that's
thing.
what I'm saying. Like I
guess that's what I think.
I
straight people
understand
behave.
that. Like
Fuck.
I'm speaking for myself. I'm
Yeah.
I'm not looking forward to the friendship break that will be Olivia and Taylor.
I know.
The men, I don't care about. They're gonna bounce back. They'll be just fine. The women kind of makes me sad, but at the same time, it's gonna be a little bit different because nobody's in a relationship. I understand it's one of those things like you don't sleep with your, girlfriend's ex-boyfriend, whatever. I get all that, but I just want us to maybe not be so, vile when we for these episodes that will be coming. And maybe we won't be. Maybe it's like so far in the past we're kind of removed. I mean,
mistakes will be made. Mistakes
So-
will be made and they will be wrong for them. But yes, I think that
Well, it's okay to be accountable and it's okay to hold people accountable and take responsibility, but everybody makes mistakes, everybody makes choices, and you live with them. And
yeah.
if you can't make mistakes in your 20s and in your 30s, I don't know what to tell you.
I've never made a mistake.
We're 35, so
I know.
we made a mistake by doing this episode tonight. So here we are. We're still making mistakes.
Well, I mean, guys, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Southern
big time.
Charm, season 9, episode 1. Forgot to talk about Vanita and Leva, but we'll pick back up next week and talk about them.
Mm-hmm. Well,
We really only got the one scene with Vanita.
yeah, we
That's
got
what I'm saying.
Vanita.
It wasn't-
I'm happy. Honestly, I think that it's great that she has a boyfriend. I think
Yeah,
that
I'm very
honestly
excited.
the only, which was a total fluff scene, the fluff scene that we got with Vanita, I actually really liked. I think
she looked beautiful
I think she felt
at the
actually
event.
very natural.
Oh, yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes, yes,
And
yes.
Leva, I
I wish we had seen Leva more
forgot
at the
about
event.
her totally, but
Yeah.
we'll obviously get more solo scenes with her, I imagine, as we go
I mean,
forward.
I'd like to think so. But we are adding 3 cast members to the show, so I don't know how much real estate. I mean, there's not a lot of real estate.
To me, that means what's wrong with the cast that you have? There's not enough story there. That to me means thinness. Why do we have to have? Why are we adding so many people? 1, I get. 2, maybe 3.
Yeah.
That's too many.
Throw spaghetti at a wall, see what sticks.
Well, 3 are sticking.
We'll see.
It's ridiculous.
We'll see.
Get me
Get
in
that
the board-
kissing scene.
Get me in the boardroom now, bitch.
God, don't I wish? Okay. Well, guys, thank you for
Make
joining
everyone
us.
woman. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. We'll be back next week.
Yes, we will.
And we are coming out with OC. That's going to come out after Southern Charm.
the oath.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, bear with
Well,
us, guys. It's just a little bit of a.
We were going to record.
Bumpy road.
I was going to record with executive producer, but somebody's doing construction in my building. And when she came over, they were drilling. And I was like, cool. So can't.
Yeah.
So we had a detour. So we're doing Southern Charm first. But thank you for joining us, as always.
Thank you.
Do not forget to like and subscribe. Okay? If you'd like to donate a cocktail.
Like yourself.
Also, guys, thank you for donating a cocky, okay? Like Taylor. Vibrating cocky. Thank you, EB, KDM, Teeny, XT, Suze, Sydney. This also sounds like a girl band.
We love
We
it.
really appreciate it. You have
Yes,
no
thank
idea.
y'all. We
You have no
really
idea.
do.
And I'm going to tell you why. Because our industry has been dead for about a year, almost a year. And I have not gone back to work. So, we're all just doing the best that we can. And it really helps us contribute to producing the podcast, honestly.
Yeah.
So we really appreciate it.
We see you. We appreciate it. And yes, we're so happy.
We're so grateful.
We are.
Thank you. God, well, yeah, I was just thinking of Camille Donatachi. I'm just so grateful. 10-year Burberry coat. God. All right, guys. Sorry. I need to get off. I need to get off the mic. All right.
Yikes. Like, Shep. Yikes.